Jackson Hole, Wyoming, famous for its ski resorts, celebrity visitors, and being the gateway to Yellowstone National Park.
We landed in the freezing cold and were greeted by an archway of antlers. I've never been to a wooden airport before. We got to our lodge and saw that there were dead animals everywhere. Cozy. The place had kind of a haunted aesthetic.
What if there's a bear in our room?
You don't
My body. I'm so cold.
Oh my God.
We headed down to the town square to look around. I think antler arches are a big deal out here. We ended up at the Silver Dollar Bar and Grill for dinner.
Tastes like brisket.
Really?
You know what? It tastes like pulled pork.
Pulled pork?
Like a pulled pork sandwich. Like a really good one.
It does taste like pulled pork. Wow. It does. What is that?
This is a buffalo elk spinach dip and cheese patty melt. Cheese on that. Pork shouldn't be on chips.
We wanted to try the local favorites, so we ordered the bison glizzy. This is a shaboing boing made of bison with elk chili and cheese on top. Jackson Hole is on some freaky business.
This is not a glizzy I'd ever swallow again. Ugh. A little different. The aftertaste.
Aftertaste, but
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the aftertaste.
Looks like you're in Blair Witch.
After dinner, we walked around more and got to see some wild deer at the park standing on business. Okay.
good energy over
He
here.
said, "What's up? We didn't want nothing. We just wanted to say hi."
I'm not gonna do nothing.
Hey, sorry we ate y'all cousins. At least they added to an antler arch somewhere. The next morning, we hopped into a shuttle and got to see Jackson Hole for the first time in the daylight. And let me tell you, it is a beautiful hole.
We even saw a giant moose.
Oh, sure enough, mine. Look at you laugh, baby. A moose. Oh, that's a giant moose. Weigh about 1,000 pounds.
We drove an hour out to the Buffalo Valley Cafe at the Heart 6 Ranch.
They provided hot chocolate, and you know hot chocolate in the cold always sets the tone.
We walked outside, and all we could hear was dozens of dogs.
They were so excited. We were about to go dog sledding.
We got in the sled, and before we knew it, we took off.
Oh, bye, buddy. Good boy, Slick.
You got the glasses on?
One boy. One boy.
The dogs had to stop and handle some business real quick. They also got to play around a little bit. Respect.
They're ready, huh?
Let's go.
This was one of the coolest experiences. Too bad my palm is too little to indulge. Speaking of little, we were led to a shed with fresh puppies.
Mama's name is Candy.
Hi, Candy.
Naturally, that names her babies are the sweetest.
Hi, honey.
His name's gonna be Kane.
Hey, Kane. Oh. They were so adorable.
The puppy whisperer.
I know. Oh my God.
Oh, they're just adorable.
Adorable.
I feel like you should just freeze them in time. And just have these 3 puppies always here.
Butterball.
Butterball.
They were more around.
Oh, you're comfortable. You just sitting. I would have been fine spending the rest of the day there. Get all that wagging.
We got to jump on a horse and carriage that took us around the whole ranch. The horses were massive. Man, that dog was chillin'. He knew he was the real star of this whole thing. After that, we said goodbye and took a long drive back into town. We hit a local grill called Sidewinders for lunch.
We ordered some French onion soup, you like it?
And an incredibly strange looking floppy pretzel filled with pizza. It was definitely a pause, but it was delicious. Don't judge. We also ordered a chicken pot pie, which was mid at best. And we got a supreme pizza, which we both really liked. On the walk back, we snuck into an abandoned building. I'm still not sure why.
I like to do really silly stuff, but I was scared that we would get caught. We drove over to Snow King, a resort on a giant mountain that overlooked the town. It was freezing, so we went to grab a necessity, hand warmers. And Pat couldn't understand why I bought oxygen. We stopped at a restaurant called Hayden's Point for a quick snack.
The fries were terrible, and the service was even worse. Oh well.
Like this. You think it's an elevation thing? No, it couldn't be.
No, look at mine. What?
We walked up to the Cowboys Snow Coaster, a self-controlled ride on the side of the mountain. I didn't know what to expect.
All right, you ready?
Nope.
What's gonna happen to me? Alright, so I am on a snow coaster. I don't know what to expect, but here we go. Woo. Beautiful. Beautiful nature. Come on, God. So much work we got.
Oh, I sound like Goofy. Oh, I sound like a Goofy movie. Ain't no slow. Oh, automatic slow. That was it.
Oh my God, so fun.
That was very fun.
The coaster was awesome, but it was time for some classic fun.
Good job.
I felt like a little kid again. This is some real Calvin and Hobbes type activity, and I'm here for it.
What you about to do?
About to tube.
This is a lot better than yesterday.
A lot of people were falling.
Well, it was so icy yesterday, people were actually going through that fence.
Whoa.
I'm fine. Only brush? Yeah. Of course. No spin. All right, no problem.
Ready?
I went so fast that I slid further than anyone else.
Hey.
If it was a race, I would have won. After going down the hill a few times, we hit King's Grill for lunch.
We ordered some Asian-inspired cheeseburgers that were surprisingly really tasty. It was getting late, so we left the mountain and headed back into town. The next day, we decided to walk around and check out the local shops in town. It was quaint. Is it really ice? Uh-huh. It is? We met a snowman. He was cool. Everything closed up pretty early, so we found a late night pizza spot called Yeah Buddy Pizza, and we got some pies to go.
Early the next morning, we jumped into another shuttle that took us 2 hours outside of town.
We landed at Turpin Meadow Ranch, sitting on the edge of 2.5 million acres of pure wilderness.
Sign your waiver.
Sign my waiver. Yummy. We had a quick breakfast and headed to the cabin where you suit up.
How you feeling? It's cold inside.
Snowmobiling time.
And you can throw these on right over everything you got.
Oh,
And yeah, like you just throw it on right over that. You don't got to change anything.
Put the jacket on over.
You put the jacket on over. We're not doing much walking. If we start walking a lot, that means things went bad. They keep your feet very warm.
looking cool. Let's see what you looking like. Hey. Our snowmobiles were huge, but they were so cool. Ooh, look at that boy.
We're going snowmobiling.
We got a quick tutorial on how they worked, and then we peeled off. This is the best way to see the snow, in my opinion.
This is called Photo Hill because on a clear day, the tee times are right back there.
You want to hear something hilarious, Joe?
Yes.
This lady right here thought that the snow coaster would be better than this.
Hey, you didn't know.
I would like to hear it on camera if you don't mind.
Don't let him do you like that.
You know what?
Go ahead and say it for the camera.
Okay.
I was right, huh?
You were right.
Yes! Oh, we never hear that.
It's on video.
We never hear that.
What?
A rare
You were
sighting.
sleeping on the snow coaster.
That's like us seeing the Yeti out here.
It seemed like we were the only ones that had ever been there. What an elite experience.
Hey, how you feeling out here?
It is equal parts amazing and refreshing. This air, I feel like,
Yes.
it's like the champagne of air. We went to several spots just to ride around. I didn't think it would happen, but I crashed a few times.
Wipe out.
You would go forward and then wrap around her. Look at that. Now I gotta find my pixie.
Oh no!
I was trying to turn around to get it, but
Oh man. Patrick wiped out, but he got back on it and fell on the pixie. Good job, bro.
Look at this. Ooh, shoot. No wonder you went down. Woo! Come on. It's a rite of passage.
He's gonna go out there and get himself stuck real quick. Look, there he is. He got himself stuck.
Wipeout. I like how adventurous he is, though. He's just out here getting stuck. Gotta be dug out. Yep, I'm getting it on video. Freezing cold and exhausted, we finally got back to the main cabin. Hot chocolate was waiting for us. Yummy.
We also ordered a bacon grilled cheese sandwich with hot tomato soup on the side.
Look at that. A lot of cheese.
I couldn't begin to tell you how needed that was.
To see it.
We finally got back to the lodge, and I just had to jump in a hot jacuzzi. I had an unseen onlooker, though.
Hell, can you see me?
A couple of them, actually.
Welcome.
Jacuzzis in the snow is a new fave of mine.
Just look at this view. Look at this view. Oh, look at this view.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Kind of juicy.
That's all you get.
For dinner, we headed to Gun Barrel, a Wild West themed restaurant with guns and game everywhere.
Nice.
We had some appetizers and various cuts of beef to be safe, but eventually we ordered some bison ravioli.
This is a second chance at bison. It's big.
It's good.
Try it. It's different.
It's like hamburger helper.
It does taste like hamburger.
It's like hamburger helper.
The next day was our last morning in Jackson Hole, so we decided to walk around town again.
Where's Jesus?
Where is he?
Went to Jesus on New Year's.
Oh.
We came across a small bakery called Persephone, so we had to go in.
We had some hot apple cider and a scone.
Maple pecan scone. You like it?
You know what? I do. I wonder if this would be good. Hey, good job.
Good job. Conquered.
Finally.
Our time was up, so we headed to the airport to catch the only flight leaving Jackson Hole to go west.
Shout out to Alaskan Airlines. Let's just say there were issues.
Flight time, 4 o'clock. Current time, 7 o'clock.
No flights.
Location, same place. Shout out to Alaska Airlines. Unfortunately, we ended up here instead of home. More on that later. Until next time, y'all, keep your bags packed. All right, you guys, that was the season premiere of the winter edition of We Trippin'.
We trippin'.
We back.
We trippin'.
We back and we cold.
Freezing.
I'm actually the most excited for this season particularly.
We did a lot.
I think that this kind of shows the show like balancing out. Before it was like mainly food with a couple activities thrown in, but this season is very activity heavy, as you guys saw from the first episode.
Absolutely. And it's different than what we're used to. You know, we can go somewhere where the sun is shining and we having fun.
Right.
And we go into a bunch of events. But this one is just so different from the Southern California living life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't usually do all the snowtivities that we did this time.
Yeah, I know that. Like every time I go to the snow, I end up annoying people who live in the snow and have to deal with it all the time. Because being from LA, we can just go somewhere that's snowing a lot and we have fun. But if you're just used to that, everything we say is annoying. We're just like, oh look, and people are just like, we gotta deal with this every single year. I gotta go to work in this, but. I feel like, you know, Wyoming and other episodes this season, we're just walking around, taking it in, you know, just doing photography.
And sometimes we the only ones outside, so you know
Yeah,
we're
we out of towners.
we're the travelers. Because I can't tell you how many times we walked around and there was nobody outside.
Definitely. And Jackson Hole was way more beautiful than we would have thought. One thing that I want to start doing in the beginning of these episodes is just saying why. Why did we go there? Why
Right.
Jackson Hole? Because we get asked those questions when we talk to people at the airport. They're just like, where are you going? I don't know. I think that this show shines in the random areas. You know, I love going to Miami and Cabo and those hot spots, but I feel like when we go to those random corners, it's just like everything is more exciting to me, you know, because it's just like, what are people doing over here? I've never even heard of this place. What are people doing out here? And I found Jackson Hole on one of those lists that's just like amazing places to go during the winter, and it's actually quite popular, as we saw how crowded it was. And it's just like that King Summit is like a huge ski resort. People come from all around the world, and I see why. It was really beautiful.
It was really fun too. I mean, I didn't know what to expect because I didn't really know where we were going before we went. So once I found out, and we just kept going to activity after activity after activity after activity, I was like, yo, this city is quite lit.
It's way more fun that you think that it would be like a place that you don't know what to get into. It might be like everything closes early or something, but the activities were stacked. Shout out to TripAdvisor. Hopefully we could work with them at some point. TripAdvisor told me everywhere to go, and they did not disappoint. So you want to just get into it then?
Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into this food, this winter food. I'm not gonna lie, this season although we were eating and we were eating good, I like the word you used earlier. The food choices were unique. Unique, you know.
Very unique.
You go to Miami and it's a lot of exotic foods, very seasoned. When you go to places that are in the 10 degrees, 9 degrees, the food is a little different.
It is a little different, and a lot of times it's locally grown.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite healthy for you. With less preservatives and antibiotics and stuff, but it's different.
It's different.
It's different. And we're not as adventurous when it comes to trying different foods, I don't think. But we stepped out of our comfort zone this time to do.
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we?
Whew. And so you guys saw where it landed for us. But all in all, I enjoyed trying new foods as long as it's not too out there.
Right.
So trying bison and elk and
it's worth the experience.
And the mixture of the two.
It's worth the experience. It's not like going and trying it in LA and you're just like, why are we eating elk? It's like if you're gonna try it, this is the best version. You know.
I felt a little guilty.
Because we were like looking in the face of the animals we were eating.
As soon as we ate them, we drove down the street and saw like a herd of them.
Why don't you be guilty when you see chickens or cows? You don't be feeling guilty?
How often do you see chickens?
On the internet or in person?
No, not the internet. In person.
You just felt their soul in person. I feel like this season we were trying a lot more game. I've been hearing that a lot. Like you said, bison, elk, all that kind of stuff. This season was a little wild. This episode in particular, we had the elk meatballs, which was okay.
The bison glizzy.
The bison glizzy I did not like. That was, I mean, the presentation was wild. I don't know what a bison dog is supposed to taste like. It had the elk chili on top. We were not fans.
I did not like it. I didn't like the texture of it. I didn't like the taste of it. It was just, and it looked good too. That's the crazy part. So we were kind of excited to try it because it looked good. And then once we did, I was like, I will never try this again. And your crazy tail self.
Crazy tail.
Yes, crazy tail self gonna take a second bite.
I mean, I wanted the full experience because I was like, maybe I didn't get enough chili. Maybe I just got too much casing. I don't know how a bison glizzy is supposed to taste. And I feel like there might be some bison enthusiasts out there that are like, why would you try a glizzy the first time?
Right.
Because a lot of people were saying that the steaks and stuff was the best quality meat ever, but I just can't bring myself to get a full steak and not like it.
What if the bison glizzy is like what a salmon chopped cheese is to New Yorkers out there?
Just like
they just don't eat it.
The locals ain't with that. Like, why would you even order that? I get it. The bison ravioli was probably the best version of bison I think we tried. But even still, they were all just like for the experience, you know. But with all that new stuff, with all those honorable mentions said, what was your favorite meal in Jackson Hole?
My favorite meal in Jackson Hole, we had this pizza pretzel.
Oh, the weird looking one.
Oh my God.
The schlong.
It looked like a
sidewinder
big
schlong.
fat intestines. Like it just
I had
kept
to break
going.
it up into pieces for sure.
But we dipped it in some marinara sauce and it was delectable.
That was really good. Sidewinders as a whole was pretty good. The pizza was good there. I'm gonna have to give it to, it was a very small low-key meal, but we ordered it right after snowmobiling, and I think that also added to it. It was like a bacon-infused grilled cheese sandwich with like this fluffy ciabatta bread. It was crispy too, and we were dipping it in the tomato soup, and that was right after getting out of a snowy forest. Overall, that had to be my favorite. It was so good.
It was very good. And you know, snow, when you're in the snow, you can get kind of dry. And we were dry and hungry. So just coming in to the warm atmosphere, looking out, sitting near the window, looking out at the snow, and then eating some
hearty. It was hearty.
Gooey, yes.
Hearty. By a fireplace.
It was beautiful and it was delicious. So that is definitely on my top for that.
Big vibes. And we just want to say, if you live in Jackson Hole or any of the cities that we're talking about, let us know in the comments what we missed. You know, I know there's a lot of food spots we did not get to. If you're screaming at the screen right now, like, you tried a bison glizzy, why didn't you go here? Please let us know.
Because you never know, we might come back.
We might come back.
I would.
Because that was a fun city.
It was.
And everybody was nice, but we'll get to that. All right, let's move on to the activities. This was pretty stacked.
Activities.
We had we did a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of did my thing with the activities. Like, we had a bet going.
We did.
You thought that the snow coaster was gonna be the most fun thing we did on the trip.
Well, you thought it wasn't gonna hit at all. You was like, oh,
But you was trying to act
boring.
like it was gonna be messing with the snowmobiling.
I thought it would be because it was really fun. How many times did we ride it?
Twice. We did ride it twice. But that's because we were just around.
We rode it twice because we really enjoyed it. And you didn't think that you would like it as much as you did.
I didn't know what it was. It sounds dangerous. But the snowmobiling, I mean, I think it was just unanimously the most fun activity. For me, probably that we did on We Trippin' thus far up until this episode, you know?
Yeah.
I think just being out there, it felt like we were by ourselves. Now, we had like some dog sleds and some other snowmobiles pass us every now and then, but the guide was so cool. The place was beautiful. The ski-doos that we had, the ski-doos, they were fun. I was crashing.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I crashed a couple times.
Yeah, you did.
Crashed out.
You fell a couple times. I am a wimp when it comes to any type of like mishaps, accidents, anything like that. And I fell on my snowmobile, but I fell in slow motion.
It took so long.
And it was crazy because as I was falling, I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. I didn't even realize I was stuck when I was stuck, and then I fell over.
It takes a lot to get out. Like, you got to basically dig yourself out. You sweating even though you're freezing. It was a lot of fun. And I remember the first time I ever went snowmobiling, I was like, this is it. Because I love being out there in the snow, but skiing and snowboarding, like, it's difficult. You got to learn it. You getting beat up the whole time falling. This is just like riding a jet ski, but you get to enjoy the mountain. I feel like when I'm snowboarding, I'm concentrating so much, I don't get to enjoy. So to do it in this location, which was the most beautiful one I've ever snowmobiled in, that was magical.
They definitely had us stop at some viewpoints that were insane. They were so pretty.
I like saying that.
I'm in a tundra.
I'm in a tundra right now. That was a lot of fun. I think snowmobiling was clearly like the centerpiece of the episode. But were there any activities that pleasantly surprised you? Just some other side activities where you're just like, whoa, this was a lot cooler than I thought.
You know, I never, ever thought to dog sled.
Same.
Ever. So, yeah, when I saw what we were doing and we pulled up, I was like, this is so cool. I got so excited to do it. And it really didn't let us down because once we started going, because I was a little nervous when we pulled up and I heard all of the dogs barking. I'm like, oh my God, it sounds like a pack of wild coyotes.
Wild wolves.
Right. But they were so cute too. We got to pet them. They were very sweet dogs.
Puppies.
We got to hold the puppies, and it was a beautiful experience. And I never thought about that.
Yeah, I never thought I would do it either, just because it seems like something that is almost like a little dated. Like, I didn't know people still did it. There's always the element of like, is this cruel to the dogs? You know, because you always hear about the tourist attractions like riding the elephants and then the dark stuff behind it, like how the elephants are basically in captivity and tortured. And I always thought it was kind of like mean to the dogs, but you know, going there and seeing it and actually talking to the guides and stuff, it makes a lot of sense. Like, the dogs love it.
Yeah, the dogs
really love it.
Love it.
And when you really think about it, you're just like, dang, like I was even thinking about my dog at home. Like, I wish she was able to do something like this. You get like infinite areas to run around. you're exercising. You know, there's like different formations within the pack and leaders and jobs, and they're just having the time of their lives. And you'd be like, oh, are they cold? Are they being whipped? Like, no, they're definitely not being whipped. You saw in the episode, he was yelling out commands, and they were just having the time of their lives playing with each other. We even stopped so they had a bathroom break, and they were like playing in the snow, doing little dog angels.
They were very
It was really
smart.
cool.
Very smart dogs too. So they just understood all the commands, and sometimes we would even have to shift our bodies too. And it was really cool just to be able to do this and interact with the dogs the way that we did. And I had a fantastic time.
Yeah. Once I was sure that the dogs were into it, I was able to get into it. And it was just like a really cool bucket list thing to do.
I also enjoyed the tubing.
Tubing was fun.
So
I
fun
wish
and
the
quick.
hill I wish the hill was a little bigger. But yeah, tubing is another one of those slept on winter activities. For
I
sure.
enjoyed it because you could just go right back up, and it's like boom, bam, and you go down so fast that your body is basically hydroplaning down the hill, and it's like
You don't think you're gonna stop.
you don't think you're gonna stop. And I know I got a little weight on me, so my momentum was like I actually went further than what they had like.
Oh yeah, the guy straight up said like, "Oh yeah, it was slippery last week, and people were going through the fence." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Bye." It's like, "Hey."
They'll do that to you, scare you right before you go down the hill.
So if you guys are living in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, again, if we missed any activities, please let us know in the comments. All right, so we got the food, we got the activities. What are some travel hacks that you learned that you want to pass along to the people?
Ooh, Lord. Okay, so I'm gonna say we were out there. It was snowing. Pack a Ziploc bag or a few Ziploc bags because your clothes are gonna get wet. And so for me, I would just zip it up and put it away. You can, of course, like hang it up and let it dry and stuff like that. But I think you kind of want to have just a separate pile. I like to take bags anyway. I haven't done it in a while, but I like to take bags anyway for dirty clothes and stuff like that. So just pack a couple of extra Ziploc bags or bags in your luggage just to separate those in case your clothes get really wet.
Okay. That's actually a really, really good one. My travel hack actually came from when we were at King Summit. You actually introduced me to these. It's these hand warmers. Now, again, this is probably very, very obvious to somebody who grew up where it's cold. This is strictly for people like us who come from a warm climate and just never really considered going on vacation in a snowy place. These hand warmers that they have are lifesavers because we found that just putting them in your gloves just puts your whole body's, heat up. Keeping them in your gloves while you're snowmobiling. I think we had them while we were with the dog sled. I think we really had them every time we were outside. And it really just made the whole experience less intimidating. It's really hard to tell your friends, especially your black friends, like, yo, you got to do this, blah, 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 blah. It was so fun. And then you tell them, like, it was 9 degrees.
All right.
They'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. And that sounds like so intimidating. Like, but we're not like Bear Grylls out there, just like super adventurous, bleeding, just trying to have fun. That it's freezing for us too, but the hand warmers really, really, really helped us just enjoy the activity.
For some reason, like my gloves just wasn't doing it for me. So having those hand warmers was definitely a lifesaver, and foot warmers. So that is definitely a great travel hack because you're going to need it for real.
For sure. Yeah, the hand warmers came in clutch. Speaking of coming in clutch, how was your skin tuition? Because it's been pretty much spot on all year.
I don't think there was anything that I was alarmed about. I felt very comfortable out there. We were walking at night, the people were really nice to us.
Very nice.
Like,
yep.
I had no red flags, no nothing.
And it's crazy because for me, sometimes just how a place sounds can raise some flags. And, no offense, but like Jackson Hole, Wyoming, it just, the first thing we saw when we got off the plane was like an arch of antlers. It's a big hunting town. There's a lot of places with like guns and boars and just like a lot of things you would associate with like the country or being like rural places. And that kind of like a little alarming to me sometimes. But this was just like you said, it was surprisingly nice. Everybody was super, super cool. And maybe it's because it was so cold. You know, everybody was just like in the crib, just like yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Too cold to be racist.
Yeah, they don't have the temperament. Like the temperament is for the cold, not for us. So
No, but I mean, even so, it didn't feel that way at all. It seemed like a great vacation place. I'm not sure if it was a place that was like super popular in other seasons. Because we've been to a couple places that's like, come back in summer, come back in this. But we would definitely recommend anyone to visit this spot during the winter.
it's always funny to me when we go to these places, because this happened in Jackson Hole too, when people will recognize us from the airport. So some people came up to us in Jackson Hole, was like, hey, we saw you at the airport. And I'm like, you did.
That makes sense. Because think about it, at the airport, they were like, black people. So, like, if you saw us 4 days later, they'd be like, it wouldn't be like, is that the same? You'd be like, oh, yeah, there they go. They're still alive.
But we weren't anywhere near the airport.
Right. But I mean, it's just really one of those vibes. I feel like we've been to a couple places on this show that was just like that, and it's like our first thought is like, oh, if there's no black people here, they don't like black people, and that's not necessarily the case. It's just like, oh, hey, they might be like a little fascinated, like, whoa, what's up? But yeah, we definitely didn't have any problems.
They loved us.
All right, so before we get out of here, let's just quickly address how this ended. Usually it ends in a cool little window shot of the plane. This ended at customer service.
Yeah, we couldn't even get to the plane.
Alaskan Airlines.
Oh my God.
We had a mishap. It was pretty brutal. You might have seen us post about it about a year ago. I had a whole TikTok. I was so mad. I edited. I shot and edited a video.
You did it there, didn't you?
I was so upset.
Oh my God.
They did us pretty dirty, and we did not actually get to go home.
Right.
So, you know, I don't really have a travel hack for that. Just sometimes airlines be really screwing you. But make sure you check out the We Trippin Patreon, because we do a deep dive into what happened with that, because we had a whole layover and a whole side adventure.
And I'm a calm upset. I'm a gatherer of info upset type of person. So when I'm pissed off, I'm taking time stamps. It's tough to get me there.
It's tough to get you there, but we were there.
Just know I got time stamps and events in my notes section.
Yes. So, yeah, make sure you guys sign up for the Patreon, because we are going to be doing a lot of in-depth stories, stuff that we really couldn't include in the episode based on time, or just it was too wild. So go and check that out. But other than that, this has been the We Trippin Winter Season premiere. What are you excited about for this season? We got some cool episodes coming.
We got more snowtivities. So we have a few places that we went to. We got
Sun Valley, Idaho.
We got to see some aurora.
We got Alaska.
Aurora B.
Chasing the Aurora Borealis in Fairbanks. We went to Branson, Missouri. We went to Denver, Colorado. Lot of cool stuff coming up. So make sure you guys keep tapped in with We Trippin. I have been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
And we are happy to be back. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Sun Valley, Idaho. A snowy mountain town unlike any other. Considered the ultimate winter getaway, known for its beautiful ski resorts.
Who are you though? Take that mask down. Can't see. Ooh. Oh.
It's no wonder this place became a celebrity hotspot. I personally had never even heard of it though.
We got to the Limelight Hotel, which is nuzzled right next to Mount Baldy. The scenery, the vibes, everything was top notch.
That exclusive parking lot right there.
Shout out to Limelight Hotels for hooking it up. Look at this view.
It was for real cold out there.
We were not prepared. We did our normal routine of exploring the town by foot. You know, Pat couldn't help himself but throw snow at me. Ah! To the wall. Ah!
I've been in the snow quite a few times, but something about the snow out here was just different. It was like the snow out of a children's book or something. I don't even know what that means.
That's beautiful. Pretty, pretty. The next day, it was snowing even harder. And as usual, we were the only ones outside.
Look at the hot tub. Snow hot tub, y'all.
Snow, snow, shiver, and yeah. One thing I couldn't stop shooting out here was just the everyday life of Sun Valley. There's something so fascinating about it, even though it's just totally normal.
Hey man, I'm from LA. I couldn't imagine coming outside and seeing this on my car. What you supposed to do? You need a flamethrower to start that car. I got a snowy eyelash.
We got in the Limelight shuttle, and it took us around the beautiful town of Ketchum. It dropped us off at the Sun Valley Lodge, where they were making snow art outside with a chainsaw. There were swans and ducks in the pond, and we were looking at them like, ain't y'all cold?
We headed into the lodge for a look around.
Hi. Thank you. How are you? Good. I like you guys' hats.
We found the Lodge Cafe and tried some elk chili. Elk chili.
It's pretty legit.
I was about to say, that's a big second bite.
I wasn't feeling as adventurous as Pat, so I ordered the soup of the day.
Elk. The snow was really coming down, so once again, we were the only ones dumb enough to be outside. Well, except for these guys.
Hello, dear.
Don't run. Hey.
We walked all the way down to the Ram restaurant.
Man, there's a homeless person there.
The Ram is known for their fondue pots. This is a pot of delicious boiling cheese that you can dip a bunch of random foods into.
We started with some appetizers while the fondue heated.
Brand new.
Brand new taste.
Brand new.
But you like it.
Nothing like that.
And then we started the dipping.
I mean, the bread is just.
We're trying it right now.
The potatoes.
That's it. Competition over.
That's all I need.
What just happened?
Beef plus scallop with the crispy top and bacon, plus the potato, all in cheese.
Let me demonstrate. This is for you. Potato. Why is the piano going with it? Boom. Boom. Oh my God. This looks amazing on camera. Jesus Christ.
Now, jump into it.
No.
We ended up at Memory Park, which was completely covered in snow.
For some reason, I decided to trek in there to film. Bad idea. I must have forgot how exhausting it is to move through deep snow.
Come here. Uh-oh. Damn it. I have zero clue where it went.
All right, I am in the middle of the deepest snow I have ever been in. And I lost my damn drone. I was stunting. I don't even know if I could use it anymore.
I think it's this way. Yes. You see it?
I lost my drone and instantly questioned my decision making.
Nothing. You ain't get none of it on photo, huh?
No, I wasn't filming this way when it stopped.
I'm gonna look a couple more places.
You got it?
So not worth it. I learned my lesson. We just went through all the snow. We're exhausted. And look what we find. A little safe haven.
A fire pit outside in a snowstorm? Definitely a win after what we just went through.
I told you guys before, I love getting in the hot tub in the snow. Woohoo!
You did something crazy?
Maybe.
Oh no. Ah, ah, ah.
I'm still gonna throw snowballs at Persephone, though.
Ah.
Ready to go? We found out that Limelight Hotel has a free in-house Audi that you can rent. So we jumped in and whipped out to the wilderness.
We pulled up to Galena Lodge, which was in the middle of a beautiful nowhere.
Hey, how's it going? Good, how's it going? Whew, it's so warm in here.
The inside was cozy. We were greeted by friendly faces and ordered some pastries as well as a tasty drink called hot apple pie.
You like it?
Oh my god. That's insane.
It really does taste like apple pie.
I know, it's so good.
Getting my next.
It's really, really good.
Turn open.
Good.
That's flaky.
We strapped ourselves into some gear and prepared for our main event. We were about to go snowshoeing.
We left the cabin area and headed into the woods. We were the first ones out there that day, which meant we had to create the beaten path. Great, more deep snow.
It's a restaurant.
Gladiator loop.
Okay.
Signs that told a story kept hikers from getting lost. I think it was about finding an owl or something.
Apparently there's 16 pages. We're gonna have to find all of them. The next one's right there. If the story stops, we're in trouble. That means we lost. All right, we made it halfway through the woods. It's pretty dope. The shoes are working. Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Go swimming.
First off,
Update. We're on this trail. We found a creek with a very sus bridge on it. Not only is she taking forever, she lost both of her damn shoes and didn't even know it. Look at this guy. Stunting on us. You lost both shoes in the same step? Losing your shoes? No. Update. Still putting her shoes on. I'm about to catch frostbite. Feels like it's been 20 minutes. I'm considering just going. You need another hour? I'll just be dead over here.
it's not easy, bro.
Make it easy. We're in tough conditions. Step up to the situation. We reached page 2. Doing what it do, baby. This story low-key not interesting to do all of them, so I'm gonna just summarize it at the end. This is a sign that we're supposed to be able to read.
Even the guidance signs were buried. We were in some trouble.
All right, it's been hours. Finally found an owl.
My big old moon boots were great, but they did not fit the occasion. I was struggling.
Looking like the shoes have come off. How is it?
I mean, it is what it is at this point.
All right, round 2. She got some shoes. She said that she was slow because of the shoes. It wasn't unathleticism, but she has the shoes now and she's still slow. So, what does that mean? All right, so this trail is closed due to high avalanche danger. It's also called the Psycho Ridge, so we were not about to do that. How are you feeling?
I mean,
Jim Carrey?
I'm making it do what it do. Yeah, see, oh, yeah. Good.
Someone's coming.
Yeah.
Alright, went up. Okay, yep, this is where we're at. This is the fort, aka Stars Perch.
Are we lost, bro? Hell no, we ain't. We tripping, huh?
We lost in the sauce.
Hey,
We were absolutely lost.
pull that down. Let's see your beautiful face. Not like that.
Get that off. Yeah,
You dusting the shoulders off?
that's what I'm saying, man. That got swag.
Gonna cause an avalanche. You challenged me to go down here. I double dog dare you.
6? No,
You. No, how about that is my counter. You. Ah! Patrick! It's super deep. Come here. Hurry. skirt.
Just made it out the woods,
We made it.
as you can see. And now it's a very big snowy white clearing for us to traverse, which I'm down for.
Yeah, me too.
Eventually, we made it out of the woods, and we were tired. We aren't used to coming back to a frozen car, so we handled it as best as we could. Don't laugh at us. Driving on ice was also not in my skill set.
I can't tell why we can't see. Is it fog or recreational?
I was scared, I'm not gonna lie.
Keep going straight. We're going straight for 23 miles, so you don't have to make any other turns.
Gotta resist the urge to go fast, though.
All right.
Tickets right here.
It's cracking over here.
We decided to have lunch on top of Mount Baldy, which is also a hilarious name for a mountain. The restaurant was only accessible by gondola.
You want to get in with people or without?
I got it all. I got it all.
We jumped on the gondola, and it was rickety.
Hey, yo! Sheesh! I thought it was one of those open ones like that. Thank God it's not. Look at this backdrop. Oh, it's even crazier that way. Captain's log. We are still going. This ain't funny. Why y'all still got the shakes? This ain't funny. We doing all this to maybe get a meal at the top. We missed our reservations.
We're gonna get a reservation.
Oh! They need to chill with these shakes.
Oh my God! Look down.
That's where we were snowshoeing.
Fun fact, Sun Valley was the first ski resort to build a chairlift, which was based off of a system used to get bananas onto ships in Panama.
Hey. I wanna tap the brakes. That was entirely too fast.
So right now, we felt like a couple of relieved bananas.
Oh, whoa. This is for sure gonna have some beats.
Something, right?
Right. Like we're going to a temple.
I'm tired of steps.
I'm tired of elevation.
3, 2.
We arrived at the top and headed into the Roundhouse restaurant, which had gorgeous 360 views. Usually, the conditions were rough today.
Jesus Christ.
Luckily, we got a table and ordered.
Swedish meatballs.
The Roundhouse is also known for their fondue pots. Must be an Idaho thing. Either way, I'm a fan.
Bussin'.
I'm gonna go in with the double.
An apple?
And it's on the board.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, really don't like it. What you going for?
I'm just gonna do a little dippy dip.
Just the bread first. Right?
I wonder if I should do the grape.
Nice. Right? Look at them elk balls. Dip the balls in the cheese. Maybe you'll have some elk balls.
All in my mouth. All right, Patrick's eating bull balls. Oh, elk balls. Elk testes.
Not testes.
The elk meatballs were pretty good, and they were not testicles. I just want to be clear.
What you think?
It's really good. I would try it with and without the fondue.
Okay.
The fondue's good, but you lose all the sauce and the jelly and stuff.
Okay.
Did you have the jelly on it?
It tastes like meatloaf.
Yeah, it's kind of like the softness of it. Yeah, now try that. Try the liquidy. The fondue is fantastic.
Wow. So what's on here? Is that tuna? Salmon. Got it. Okay. And dipping cheese in cheese isn't gonna kill us, right?
That sounds like a really good idea.
Okay. The fondue was bussin', and the smorgasbord of things to dip was interesting.
The flavor combos were crazy. We were dipping everything in the fondue. Beets, grapes, salmon, salami. It was so weird. People here love cheese.
Don't make me dip a beet.
Just doing anything.
They even added jam to the mix.
What about this meat makes a jam complimented? I've never seen that.
It's a kind of a Swedish style take on meatballs.
Oh, so Swedish meatballs, even if it's not elk, they have jam on it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Got the fondue going crazy. Apparently this meshes with this.
Jam.
Meat and jam. The jam does cancel out the saltiness. However, it's not good. I would just generally leave the salami alone.
Thank you.
The shuttle was ice skating all over the road. Man, I don't think I'll ever get used to this.
That's what you wanna do. It's time for us to Super Bowl. Yeah!
Yes.
Uh-oh. Good job.
Fashion Nova men.
After a beautiful snowy trip, we said bye to Sun Valley and jumped on the plane.
Until next time, guys, keep your bags packed. All right, guys, that was Sun Valley, Idaho. We here in the We Trippin headquarters. That was a good time.
It was.
Cold.
Freezing. It stormed on us.
I think that was the coldest place we've been.
Mm-hmm.
It was so cold, we had to screen record our weather app.
It felt like when I put my gloves on, it didn't feel like I had on gloves. It didn't.
This was definitely the coldest place we've ever been. It was definitely the most like actively snowing out of all the spots we've been to. Like it was going. Like I felt like we were in a blizzard sometimes. It was probably a flurry.
I think we were. No, it was coming down hard. It was coming down really hard.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the coldest that I've been, to the point where I think when we were out at night in that 8-degree weather is when we stopped into the little convenience store and got the warmers.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the beginning of the hand warming saga. Because at that point, those little hand warmers, like, they should sponsor the show.
Sometimes they even get too hot and you like, damn.
Right.
You know? Like,
I got these shoes right here. I don't know how to say the brand.
You love those shoes.
Rosinol. They damn near sponsored the episode. These are snowshoes that are also slippers.
Mm-hmm.
This is right up my alley.
Those were perfect for you.
Right up my alley.
To the point where I was slightly jealous because I didn't get some.
Oh, you didn't get the snow slides?
I didn't.
The snow slides. So why Sun Valley? This is my first time in Idaho. Was this yours?
This is definitely my first time in Idaho. I think we wanted somewhere different, low key.
Super low key. But not really. You know, this place is basically like the lesser known Aspen type place. You know, like we know that a lot of random celebrities, white celebrities, have houses down there just for like skiing and snowboarding, because we saw immediately like this is a beautiful, beautiful town in the winter, and there's just like these giant mountains, and you just have your pick of like what summit you want to go to. We didn't snowboard or ski. We were like, what else y'all got? But yeah, it was insanely random, but like I feel like this is like one of those gems, like those We Trippin gems, because it's like it sounds so random, but it was like weirdly like posh,
right? I know we don't typically talk about our room, but our room was fire. You know, we had a really nice view, and it was snowing so hard that you couldn't even see the mountain behind, but once it stopped snowing, we actually got to see that we had a huge view of the mountains. And we just were floored at how amazingly beautiful the city was, just off of the strength of not knowing anything about it before we went. Like, this was literally, what's this town? Then we went and we were like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's like it literally is a getaway for a lot of people. And a lot of people we met, I think we met like a family from like London. Like people are really coming from very, very far away just to come to this little spot that we had never heard of. So that felt like a win in my book, especially how random We Trippin is. This is pretty much as good as you can get. So
it was a little adjustment for me. I
yeah,
struggled through some things this trip.
Definitely. Well, let's just get into it then. Let's just go ahead and jump into the food. Now, a lot of people in our comments, they call the show We Eatin' because we eat so much. I don't know what was going on, but we just were not eating like that.
We weren't. I lost weight on this trip.
Yeah, we were doing like activities, but also like we might have eaten walking. We ate like once a day. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe our hunger was frozen. But the two big ones was the Roadhouse and Ram restaurants. Other than that, I can't really recall any other meals. There was a meal we had to cut out because it was so nasty. So check out our Patreon. But apparently the fondue pot is huge in Sun Valley.
And that's a lot of cheese.
It's a lot of cheese. It's a lot of cheese, especially we doubled up on it and got it twice. But it was strange. Like the appetizer was like grapes and like cubes of bread. So I was like, is a duck sitting with us?
It was like a charcuterie board. But with fondue.
Right, but it was weird stuff like pickles. They had boar salami. We were dipping boar in there.
They had some jelly.
They did.
Yeah, it was a unique palette of food. And it wasn't my favorite. I'll just say that off top. The cheese was a little too salty for me. It was just too much cheese. And then I don't know. I guess this might be a normal thing, but I guess they keep the fire going under the pot. Yeah. But it starts to burn the cheese a little bit, so it's like kind of getting stuck to the pot.
They expect you to eat it quick, I guess.
Right. And so I was just like, this is a hassle.
It was a lot of flavors, especially the Roundhouse version. I feel like Roundhouse was such a random collection. They had pickles and beets and all this stuff that I don't know if I would eat together, period. But now you're like, this plus cheese, this plus cheese, this plus cheese. And the way I took it, it was like, okay, if this is, I don't even know if this is like super popular out there. I just know we saw it twice. And if this is what they're into out there, I see it as like Korean barbecue. Like a lot of places do it. Some places are trash. Some places are good. Roundhouse was okay to me. You know, we had the Swedish elk meatballs, which was another one of those dishes that's like just to try it, but not sure if I would order it again. I do remember them being okay. But in terms of the fondue, I feel like the Ram had the better setup. They brought out like the steak bites and like stuff that I felt like it was just overall kind of like a better fondue pot experience. So I would give it to the Ram restaurant for sure.
I would definitely say the Ram restaurant one for me because they had the scallops.
Scallops. You're a big fan. I don't like scallops.
You like these though?
Yeah,
when you
they
tried
were good.
them, they were very good.
Did you dip them in the cheese?
I think I tried it in the cheese, but I'd rather just eat them by themselves. And I actually liked it so much that I ordered a second.
The seconds. That's how I immediately know, like, oh, that's gonna be her pick on the wrap up.
Definitely, it was so good. It was so tasty. It was the best thing I had on the trip by far.
Well, just like we said before, if you are from Sun Valley, Idaho, or if this is one of your vacation getaways, please let us know what we missed, because we missed a lot. And if there's a spot that if you're like, you went to the Ram and the Roundhouse, the best fondue pot is on blah, 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 blah. Let us know that too. Because I think that's
how we ended up at the Ram with that fondue pot, is because some of the people, we got a recommendation from some of the people that were there. So please let us know, because we definitely did not indulge in much food out there. Yeah.
But the activities. Now, there was a very obvious centerpiece activity in this. And I think one of us had a little bit more fun than the other. You were Struggle Bus City. When we were snowshoeing, it was rough.
It was a disaster.
I've never considered stranding somebody in the middle of a snowy forest before that time. I was like, can an avalanche just take us both out right now?
Well, I didn't really know what we were doing ahead of time. And so I had these big snow boots that I was wearing.
Moon boots.
Yes, my moon boots. I love me some moon boots. I have
got a lot of compliments.
Yeah, people love them. And they definitely keep my feet very warm. So I had those on, not knowing they don't fit on the snowshoe.
Yeah.
And so we tried to make it work. He strapped me in. I thought it was solid. I soon came to find out that it was not when they kept coming off. And ultimately, one time I didn't even realize it came off, but our steps, we were trekking the trail.
Yeah.
We were the first ones out there, so we were paving the way for everyone else.
Not recommended.
Not especially for beginners.
It's cooler, but making the trail is exhausting.
So the steps were extra deep. So there was a couple of times where my snowshoe came off, and the bad thing about that is when you take a step in your regular shoe, you can go down even further, and it's really small, and you can cause these like little holes for other people, and so they don't recommend
you can't even
that
give
you
up.
do that.
You can't even be like, man, I'm just walking for real.
Because I tried to, but it was so deep that the snow started going inside of my boots, and I was like, okay, this
So
is
I had
too
to
much.
Pave the road all by myself.
You
I
lie.
was sweating. How were you paving it? You didn't even have them on.
We're paving together.
You was in the back.
So we ended up going back. So because I just could not go on, and we met up with one of the guides who came and saw us. I think she saw us struggling, so she was like, "Look, this is what you need to do."
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we didn't really know what snowshoeing was. You know, like you think you just put something on and you're good, but it was strange. Like you strapped into this one part and then you lift your foot, but the whole thing doesn't come. It's like a separated thing. So that thing steps down and then you step into it. So we didn't really know. If we would have known that, we might have guessed that the moon boots would be a problem.
Right.
But I mean, I was struggling and I had regular shoes on. So
we actually had to snowshoe back to the cabin, and then they switched me out.
We got it done. I think that the saving grace was just how pretty it was out there. You know, like the trail, even though it was, you know, not, I don't know, beaten, it was not paved. We got to see just like the fresh snow. There was like a creek. It was literally like the non-extreme version of the snowmobiles. We were in like a similar scenario where we were just like by ourselves. It was completely like vast and majestic.
Clean and pretty and crisp. The air, the oxygen was just, it felt so good to breathe.
And that damn owl story. That damn owl story. They basically set up signs along the way so you know you're not lost. Right. But every sign is a different page of a children's book about some people who were looking for owls. They never found the owls. They found like one owl in the whole 2-hour trek. I was very frustrated, and we had to unbury. Like we basically had to like uncover the signs because it was so snowy.
You were invested. You were invested in this story. I was just trying to get through it.
It was a workout. I say all that to say this doesn't sound like it, but that was my favorite activity. It was a lot of struggle, but I built a lot of character.
I struggled, and I thought it was really pretty, and I knew that I was losing weight because it was definitely a grueling activity. Because what did we go, like a mile?
It felt like a long.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
It took us about 4 hours to get through.
That long?
It took us about 4 hours to get through. So we were out there for quite a long time.
I don't even think we were supposed to be out there that long.
No, we were not supposed to be out there that long. They said if it takes you more than, I think, 2.5 hours, that they was gonna call for help.
Yeah, I would have loved a helicopter pickup. I know you would have.
Oh my God. But I ended up, it got easier as we went on. And I was trying to keep up with you because I was like, Lord, please don't let me get too far behind, because you were enjoying it, and it was nice to see.
I like
you know, and I like to film. So there was a lot of stuff that I saw that I would stop and film, and that would give me time to like catch my breath a little.
So would you say this is your favorite one?
Yeah.
Okay.
By far.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I struggle, but I don't give up, and I'm able to see the beauty in what we were doing, even if I was struggling through it. But I really did have a good time, and I would definitely snowshoe again.
Really?
I would not want to pave the way. I would not want to be
there definitely have to be some adjustments. I would want to wear the right shoes. I want to make sure that if there was some alternate snowshoes, if we, you know, I thought we were just going to put like rackets on our, you know how like them old cartoons, you just be putting a tennis racket and they be like walking like that. I kind of thought that was what it was going to be.
And I would be more prepared. I think I had on a Nike bubble coat. You know, I think even though I was sweating because my body temp was up there due to the struggle.
It's better gear.
You know, just be a lot more prepared, and I think I'll have an even better time.
What was something that we did that wasn't necessarily your favorite, but you were pleasantly surprised?
I was actually pleasantly surprised with getting in the jacuzzi in the snow.
The snow koozie.
I was a little afraid, like, damn, we risking it, like we might get sick or something out here because it's just too extreme temperatures.
Right.
And I think we're crazy enough to do silly stuff like jump out of the jacuzzi and fall in the snow and run back in.
Snowball fight.
Which was, I wasn't sure if it was my idea or yours. So I was going to pin it on you.
It was definitely mine, just because, like, I've never done nothing like that. Like, you had a jacuzzi where your view was like literally giant snowy mountains. The closest would be like a hot tub in Big Bear or something. But even like then, I like snow so much. If I'm in like a hot like jacuzzi, I'll get out and jump in the snow or do like snow activities, which is, I think it's fun, like that extreme temperature difference, because you could always get back in the jacuzzi like,
It was literally shockingly cold.
That was fun. The view from the hotel was pretty dope. I would say like the surprise for me was just kind of like, you know how sometimes I'll just wander off and I'll just be filming somebody doing a regular job. That's my thing, is just like everyday work. When I go to a random place or a random city, I like just seeing like the people just doing regular stuff, like the snow plowing, people shoveling. We spent a lot of time at that shed. I was so attracted to that shed, like that, just like the one with the green trim. We did so many videos and photo shoots in front of that. Just seeing like how people survive in this place, and they don't even know, they're just chilling, just doing their regular thing. But to me, I'm like,
It's very cool.
Yeah, working.
You were
working.
You're flying your drone, your Pixie out
My
there.
little baby drone.
Your little baby drone. It got lost.
Yes. So the drone shots in this show are pretty inconsistent. I will say that. We started off not doing it at all. Eventually I got the Pixie, which is a handheld drone. You can't really control it. It just kind of does a little thing. And then I upgraded to the DJI. So it's all over the place. I think Miami, there's a couple things in the summer where it had amazing drone shots. Then it goes to the Pixie. Then sometimes it's not at all. Just bear with me, all right? I'm learning how to do this. I'm getting new equipment on the way.
But
this was a Pixie trip.
It caused us to have to like go searching for it in the nighttime, in the snowy streets.
Like I said, you don't control this one. It just does its own thing. So sometimes it flies off. It gets lost in the bushes, in the deep snow. I was losing it all over the place. But it's bright yellow, so somehow I was finding it. And I still have it. But you guys should be getting drone shots, like real drone shots after that.
It made for a good time.
For sure. All right. What are your travel hacks?
It definitely has to do with that. Specifically, I've noticed that being from Los Angeles and in a warm weather city, when I shop for cold weather clothes, it doesn't keep me warm.
It's for LA winter.
It is for LA winters only. So I've realized that it's better to buy when you get there, because their clothing, the quality of it actually keeps your warmth inside. It keeps you insulated, nice and covered and protected. Some of the stuff that we bought from LA was just like some gloves, some jackets and stuff like that. But I tell you, once we stepped foot out there, it was not nice to us.
I was about to say, when you said I found out, we found out immediately. We were like, oh my God. As soon as we stepped off the plane, we were like, this ain't gonna cut it. We're not dressed the right way.
Right. So luckily there was a shop. I think it was downstairs or a couple of doors down from.
Still don't know how to say it.
Our hotel.
Risano. It's the chicken. It's probably not the pronunciation at all.
Probably not. It doesn't sound close to it at all. But we did a little shopping spree out there, and I realized like this was the better thing to do. Like you dress as warm as you can when you get there, but then once you get there, find the real outfits and
that really set the tone for the winter season, because chronologically this was the first place we went to that had snow. So what we bought there, we pretty much carried into every other episode, and that leads into my travel hack, because after we did that shopping, I kind of understood how to move in the winter. Before I thought it was like you put on some warm pants, you put on a shirt with a warm jacket and hope for the best, some gloves. But when you really get to those really, really, really low degrees and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna die out there. That's when I started learning about like, oh, the insulated clothing, you know. I was finding like the super insulated pants and jackets that weren't necessarily stylish, but that's because they're not supposed to be seen, you know. Like I was in there with the insulated ones. Sometimes I'll put on sweats and then my pants, and then I'll have like a shirt with the insulated jacket. Sometimes I had a thermal, and then I'll put like the fit on over that. And to be honest, the colder you are, the less you care about the fit. You had the moon boots and stuff, so you already had that covered. But you know, a lot of the snowshoes, as you could see, they're not the flyest, but I'm just concerned about it getting the job done and not having wet socks. So
and they had levels. They had levels, so it was like these types of jackets are meant to be worn under another jacket,
right?
And I didn't know anything about that, so we actually had the attendant that was there, the customer service rep that was there. He was really, really knowledgeable about how we should layer up, which was really cool because we had no idea.
And it seems pretty obvious because I'm thinking like layer up just means two of something. You know, it's cold in LA, put on a crew neck with a hoodie on over it. But like when it gets down to that type of vacation, now I know like, okay, how to properly insulate. And then sometimes the jacket or the top layer doesn't even have to do that much. It can just be what you want to wear as long as you got everything on underneath that you need to.
Need some thick goose feathers.
Goose feathers. That's so random. Okay. All right. So Sun Valley, Idaho. When you tell somebody you're going there, they might be like, whoa, what was the skin tuition hitting on?
Man, everybody was sweet as pie.
We don't. It's not like we're like, get ready for the racist episode. Like, we're hitting pretty close to 100. You know, we've had some incidents, but in terms of just like overall weirdness, overall danger, this place was just, it was cheerful.
It was pleasant. Yes.
It was cheerful.
Pleasant town.
Everybody there was just trying to ski and chill. Ain't nobody worried about us.
Right. And we just had a good old time. Like, everything was beautiful. And we're not looking for it either, you know? So, but just sometimes just being Black in different places can put you on a higher alarm, especially in, you know, places that people don't really know about like that. So I don't know. For us, it was just,
the day's gonna come where the skin tuition segment's gonna be like, hey, don't go.
I don't want to even know what that's going to entail. That means we're going to have to go through some stuff.
Not for real. But like we said earlier, if you are from Sun Valley or if you go there a lot, let us know what we missed, food-wise, activity-wise, racist-wise. Imagine they're like,
oh my God.
Imagine they're like, hey, you didn't go to this part. They would have hated you. But like I said, put on for your city. Let us know so that we can know. And then if we come back, we can re-up.
Yep.
But yes, this has been Sun Valley, Idaho. Well, we are in the We Trippin headquarters. I've been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
We'll see you next time. Keep your bags packed.
500 feet, 500 miles.
Denver, Colorado, located near the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains. This unique city experiences 300 days of sunshine every year. Since it's so high above sea level, the thin atmosphere makes the sun feel warmer.
Look who it is. Denver has the 10th largest downtown area in America. Within a short mile, you can find 3 sports stadiums, a performing arts center, 3 colleges, a water park, art museums, and a river for whitewater rafting. Oh yeah, there's stuff to do out here.
We headed into the downtown area to take it all in. We ended up at the Four Seasons, which has a restaurant called Edge. I ordered a starter of squash bisque. I don't know how to pronounce that first word.
Oh my God.
I want to see the hat.
And then the main course, steaks.
Hey, she was grubbing.
Everything is fire. It's so pretty. The sky is pretty clear too. See a couple stars.
The next day, we hit downtown again to walk around some more.
We found this cool vintage shop full of antiques, clothes, and old records. We stumbled upon this giant bridge that was over a train station, and we had to go get some pictures.
On our way, we stopped at the local wine cellar to get some drinks for the road.
They also say that golf balls go 10% further here, and so do cocktails. Alcoholic drinks literally hit harder up here than at sea level. The Union Station here was built way back in 1858. Everything here was old AF. The architecture was amazing though.
We found an alley that some artists had blasted with butterflies, bees, and all types of stuff. It was like Tyler, the Creator, had been here or something.
With every old city, you know there has to be some haunted stuff. And we were looking. That led us to the Oxford, Denver's oldest boutique hotel.
This place is over 120 years old and has all types of stories. Locked bathroom stalls, sinks that turn on and off during the night, and of course, room 320. In 1898, a woman shot and killed her lover before taking her own life in that room.
The hotel's cruise room bar is haunted too. Bartenders report seeing a man walking into the bar wearing an old post office uniform. He always orders a beer before muttering, "The children. I have to get the gifts to the children." Then he drinks the beer and leaves. But when the bartender picks up his bottle, it's always full. I didn't know ghosts could get drunk and avoid the tab.
It look haunted down here too.
I don't know who we think we are, but they invited us to come back at night to see for ourselves. Later on that evening, we ended up at Meow Wolf, an incredible immersive experience started by a collective of artists in Santa Fe.
Hi.
The seat?
Each location has a theme, and they're all insanely trippy. We're huge fans, so this was the whole reason we came to Denver. The theme was a multiversal transit station, and this was the company's largest location. I don't even know how to explain it, so I'll just let you see for yourself.
Sure.
This was incredible. I felt like I was on psychedelics. Every area was completely different. Almost cracked the code.
Crazy.
so cool. Nowhere to go. Yikes.
Melody or something.
Oh, we on that.
You look like a mad scientist.
Crash Nebula, what are you gonna do now? We're not going anywhere. Sir, do you know what you're doing?
I'm gonna get us out of here.
Oh, it's fired up. Oh, turn it up.
Yeah, I think we're gonna die.
Hey, Pat, what's going on in this room right here?
Glizzy heaven. Get by the glizzy gobbler.
touch that little dangly thing in the back of my throat.
Are you hypnotized? Are you hypnotized?
Yes.
Are you hypnotized?
Yes.
Are you hypnotized?
Yes.
Are you hypnotized?
Too hypnotized. I can't think. Get them out of my head.
Are you hypnotized?
Somewhat.
Are you hypnotized?
I'm getting there.
Are you hypnotized?
Yes.
They got the Nintendo controllers on the floor. They got the cassettes, the phones, the cell phones. Oh, they did they. Listen.
Imagine you saw somebody running at you.
Yeah, let me get a pat. Let me get a pat.
Pat?
Pat.
Oh. This is a movie theater?
You want to sit in the front?
I don't know if I want to watch this. Everybody getting brainwashed? This looks like the Illuminati entrance tape.
After we felt like we saw everything, we left Meow Wolf and headed back to Oxford, the haunted hotel from earlier.
Into the cruise room.
Surprise.
Right.
We were trying to see the mailman ghost. We did not. Drinking at a haunted bar was fun though.
Were you at Meow Wolf earlier?
Yeah.
I saw you. I saw you.
You Why are you like this?
Ready when you are.
The next morning, we ordered some food before we had to head to the airport.
The view of Denver was perfect for a champagne send-off.
On the drive to Denver International Airport, we passed a giant, scary horse called the Blue Mustang, also known as Blucifer. This scary statue literally killed the artist that sculpted it in a freak accident. What a lovely sight before getting on a plane. Thanks for a scary good time, Denver. Until next time, keep your bags packed. All right, that has been the Denver, Colorado episode of We Trippin'.
Oh my God, you sound like Elmer Fudd.
Denver was a good time.
It was.
Denver was a good time. It was quick.
It was quick and cold.
Quick and cold. One of the biggest downtown areas in America. And so I just feel like it was a good time just walking around. Mm-hmm. Not a lot going on.
And it's pretty high above sea level. So
you
be careful.
Clearly just learned that. And the elevation.
No, I told you when I went to play basketball there were signs in the gym that said, be careful breathing because of the elevation.
That's right. A crazy sign.
Right. So you definitely got to get used to the air out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it is crisp and clean.
It was very crisp. It was a crispy place. I like Denver. This wasn't either of our first time there, right?
No.
So we were just dipping into Colorado.
But you know what? I have only been to Colorado to either go straight to Breckenridge or to play basketball back in college. But I hadn't gotten a chance to walk around the city and just explore the way we did. So that was refreshing.
But this was definitely, like you said, this was kind of like my first time just wandering around, learning about the city, finding out how haunted it is.
Yeah.
This was a very paranormal episode.
Yeah, and we are super into paranormal activities. So intriguing.
Spooky. Not any actual winter activities.
No.
It was actually barely snowing. It was just very cold. Right. Colorado is just kind of known for winter stuff. So this is kind of like a winter episode by technicality.
We got a little break from it because we went to Wyoming, we went to Idaho,
right?
And so those were heavily snowed in places, and now we got a little break from that in Colorado. It was just pockets of snow everywhere.
We very clearly came here from Meow Wolf.
Right, for sure.
Very clearly. That was the only thing that really fit the agenda. It wasn't very wintry, but as you can see, we had a lot of fun there. So speaking of fun, what's more fun than grubbing? What was your favorite food in Denver, Colorado?
Okay, so we stayed at the Four Seasons, which is a beautiful hotel.
Yep.
And I enjoy eating at the hotel. So my favorite food was actually there. The restaurant downstairs at the Four Seasons. I had some ribeye steak, some Brussels sprouts, mashed potatoes.
That's good.
Ooh, some squash. I mean, I was eating.
That was good.
God damn, now that I go over my whole meal, I was eating.
You were the only one filmed during that, so it just...
So I just look extra.
Just nom, nom.
Not Cookie Monster.
And I was just over there leave me some. Can I have some? Oh, no, never mind.
You was out here like this. Can I have some more?
Can I have some? Oh, no, none of that. Food was flying at me.
Dang, don't do me like that.
Nah, we were both tearing it up. That was a really, really good restaurant. I feel like We Trippin' started with a lot of steak and beef tenderloin and stuff like that. And then we were like, man, we should probably switch it up for the show.
Absolutely.
But this time we were just like, man, we tired. We got in late. We're just like, man, take us to the beef.
This was a very chill episode, a very relaxed, just some walking, some big walking energy.
Yeah, for sure. And, we did have a lot of restaurant just delivered to us. Some of that stuff you can check out in our Patreon. If you want some extra food reviews. But my favorite food was room service on the last day. I got the croissant French toast.
Croissant.
Those big old thick babies. Big back French toast.
I definitely got to taste it, and it was phenomenal.
Your meal was, I feel like it was better on paper. It was just bangers and eggs.
You definitely won the competition.
But the view, though, that view was basically like exactly what I think of when I think of Denver. You know, like Denver's one of those cities, even though I associate it with like cold and snow, I really think of the like skyline and the buildings and the downtown area when I think of Denver.
Whenever you have a mountain view, it just adds to everything. So
it's a little surreal because you see all the buildings and, you know, like the bustling neighborhoods, but then you just see a snowy mountain like right there. And it's just like, dang, where am I? So
it was like we got a part of, it was kind of crazy, our view, because we got a part of the city all the way to the right. And then we had a big building right here and then a mountain view that was just like everything. So it was just kind of like we got 3 different views in one.
Green screen. So
Seriously.
it was like your background was snowy mountains. My background was downtown.
Right.
That was a cool little experience. But other than that, not a lot of eating on this trip. Not a lot of eating. We were just exercising pretty much. A lot of cardio.
I'm always losing weight.
Which is a good thing. Usually people gain weight on trips.
Yeah. It's better for my knees. I can feel the difference.
Well, speaking of your knees.
Wow.
What was your favorite activity in Denver? Because I was thinking of like walking and stuff like that. We were just doing
sure. Knees, right?
It just came out super weird.
My favorite activity was none other than meow.
The
wolf.
reason for it all.
How would I say that? Meow wolf.
Or just meow wolf. Just say the words.
They're both like animal based. So
what'd you like about meow wolf?
Meow wolf.
Just not gonna get past it. Just not
that
gonna
worked.
get into the segment.
No, my favorite part of Meow Wolf, first off, this was the first Meow Wolf I've ever been to, and I had no idea what exactly it was. So walking into it, it was almost overstimulating because I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It's like aliens everywhere, like crashed little ships. It's like we were on another planet.
It was
looked
a
like
psychedelic trip.
Yes, like fungus everywhere. I felt like I was
fungus.
I felt like I was just floating.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. And then these specific rooms that they had, you know, my favorite room was a room that we walked in and it was black and white zigzags all over the walls.
Yeah.
And it just looks super trippy.
It's just like huge photo op. But it's so cool. I've been following Meow Wolf since they first opened. Their first location was in New Mexico. I think it just started as like an art showing that was like immersive, and then it just kind of like grew from there. They just made something so special. Like it almost feels like a museum, but it's also kind of like the excitement of a theme park.
Right. It's like an interactive museum visual theme park.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And I saw it on social media. Somebody was like walking through it, and this must be the Santa Fe location, the first one, but they like went through like a washing machine into a tunnel.
That's crazy.
And then like came out in another room, and I was like, where is this? I want to go to all of them. So I guess this is their biggest location.
Okay.
And it did not disappoint. Like my favorite room, they had it was like a enchanted forest. You know that room? It was like multiple levels, and it was like weird like sloths and all these creatures and stuff. But then on the next room over was like this giant crystal castle. And it seemed like it was like in outer space, and it was just like, it's so trippy. Like
every
like
time
an artist's dream.
Every time you walked around the next corner, it was just something different, completely, totally different. You could go from that crystal room, crawl into another room, and it's like all white rock,
right?
You know, or something. It was crazy. And then to add to it, the workers. For me, the workers really added to it. There was one.
They were deep in it.
The lady who walked up to him was like, blah, 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 and I was like, yeah, sure. She's like,
that might have been a customer. I don't even know. I don't even know. I feel like everybody was into it. But you're right. Everybody was like, it just seemed like it attracted like the same type of person, like super artsy, but also just kind of like very imaginative, because I could see this being a weird sell for certain people.
Right.
Like they're like, you know, but this was super up our alley. It seemed like the artists would have so much fun doing it. Right. And I want to go to all of them. Meow Wolf, what's up?
Hey,
hit us up.
We here.
The only thing I didn't like about it was how crowded and popular it was.
Right.
Because there was like,
it was so many people.
There were so many cool places to do little photos and videos, but then there's just like a million people in there.
You know, it's always crazy to me when I don't know about something and then I go there and it's just packed. I'm like, everybody knew about this but me. I was like, It's crazy, but it was really a fun experience. And the people actually, for me, some of the people did enhance the experience.
For
Because
sure.
if that lady wasn't a worker there and that was just what it brings, then that just makes the experience that much more. Because sometimes people can seriously ruin an experience.
Yeah.
And everybody seemed really chill and fun and high energy too. So it was really cool.
Everybody was committed for sure. Everybody was fully into it. I mean, obviously that was my favorite activity also, but
you're into some other stuff.
I loved the paranormal elements of this trip. Denver, I mean, between like all of the paranormal stuff I do on my own or on Damn Internet You Scary, I've researched the Denver airport, you know, haunted places a long time. We went to San Diego and actually caught a ghost on camera. So we pretty much official ghost hunters. But yeah, like
self-proclaimed,
but I mean, we got the evidence.
We do.
Hit us up, Ghostbusters. Give us the pack. But yeah, going to the Oxford, learning about, you know, the room where a lady killed her man and herself, and then all the single men that go in there. She's trying to get at them pretty much and holla from across the grave. The ghostly mailman who was still trying to deliver them packages. Them kids is dead, bruh.
That's crazy.
Them kids came and went. You don't have to deliver them no more.
Man.
But the fact that we went and explored and then we were like, let's try again at night.
And that's really you. Because
no, it's not. You like that stuff too.
I do, but you like to do the paranormal stuff at night, which is extra scary.
She's trying to make it seem like I'm dragging her into this. Nah, you got two legs. You can run.
I love it too, except going to graveyards at night.
And just
outside of that,
drinking in a haunted hotel was pretty cool too.
Oh, it's crazy because I just wanted to see something because I'm like,
oh,
you kind of don't. I'm like, but I did see one thing and this freaked me out. And you were a part of this. When we were walking at the bottom of the hotel, as soon as I started filming down the long hallway, a lady walked by and she had on a long black dress.
She was dressed like a ghost.
I was like,
we are not 100% sure if that lady was alive. I'm sure she was, but if she was, she need to update that wardrobe.
Okay, because it was like she was like wearing like a scary nun outfit
like
to me,
churning
like
butter,
right?
Pilgrim shoes,
right? And I was
that.
like, what the? And then you were hiding, and I had saw you at first, and then you disappeared, and it was just all kind of like freaky. Man,
that was fun. And then we got to see Lucifer on the way out. So I think just overall, my second favorite activity, just to follow up yours, was just all the paranormal stuff that was going on. So I guess that leads me to my travel hack.
Your travel hack. Okay, what we got?
So my travel hack is really just for, people who are into what we were just talking about. If you're into the paranormal and all that stuff, it's good to do some research on the city ahead of time, because a lot of these cities have very old buildings. And if we didn't know, we would have just walked right past the Oxford. It's a cool spot, but TripAdvisor wasn't suggesting it, go drink here, go stay here. But we just kind of heard from around that it was haunted. I think they kind of they gave us the piece of paper up front, to that had the whole breakdown of what was going on. So it must be a part of their tourist attraction. Just, knowing these things ahead of time, if you're into that stuff, just research the old buildings, ghost tours. A lot of cities have this stuff, and you would just never know if you weren't looking for it. So
I feel like everywhere we go, there's like a ghost tour somewhere. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
Whether we get to do it or not. It's
people
just
died everywhere.
Right. And their presence is felt everywhere too. So yeah, that's a great travel hack. Mine kind of goes along the lines of that a little bit. My travel hack has to do about conspiracy theories. So all my conspiracy theorists, you're gonna love this. So Denver Airport is kind of known for its
full of
for its conspiracy theories surrounding the Illuminati headquarters, tunnels underneath. We saw that big blue horse, the devil horse.
Lucifer.
Yeah. But I didn't really know too much about it beforehand. So it's very known. And I guess people come to that airport specifically to see what was going on there. And there's like Freemason symbols all over the
murals,
place.
So much stuff. But if you were just at the airport, you wouldn't be looking for it.
Right.
You don't got that stuff at LAX.
Right. So my travel hack just goes into look up the conspiracy theories of the city that you're going to, because if you want to go check it out, you can. We got lucky that ours was in the airport, so we just got to kind of, look around in the airport to see what we could find.
Right.
So, and we did see some like interesting stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an easy way to add some spice to your trip, because a lot of times people just come into a town and be like, all right, basically what we do, like, what is there to eat? What is there to do? And it seems kind of like a boring suggestion to be like, hey, do some research on this place,
Right.
But now I will do that in every city because I think that's cool. You might just have some random building across the street from your hotel that can, be the most interesting part of your vacation.
Secret tunnels and
secret tunnels,
secret dungeons and torture chambers and
there's limits.
You don't want to go visit?
I got black limits.
Oh, well, let's put it on the list.
Well, I mean, speaking of black limits,
yeah,
leads into our next spot. How was your Denver, Colorado skin tuition?
It was nice. It was nice and smooth and moisturized. Where I didn't have my radar didn't go up for my skin tuition at all. Now I had some, raised hairs for like paranormal activity and stuff like that we just talked about.
Yeah.
But as far as, being black in a city, I didn't feel targeted. I didn't feel anything. People recognize us from the airport or from Meow Wolf. But that's kind of all. It was pretty pleasant.
Yeah, it was a major city. Very like hipster vibes, even though it is old and a lot of the, like the Union Station and all that stuff goes back to like the 1800s. It still gave like a major city vibe. It was, between the record store we went to, there's just like a lot of places like that. It's like Silver Lake. It's like if Silver Lake, California became a major city. That's how I felt in it. And it just felt very comfortable. I saw, pretty much every type of race, every type of culture, and there was just no issues.
Yeah, none at all. So Denver was good.
Denver was good.
Yeah.
There you have it. Denver was good.
A time was had.
All right, this was a very tight little wrap up.
Yeah, it was.
It's a tight bow. All right, you guys. Well, this has been Denver, Colorado episode of We Trippin'. I have been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
And we will see you on the next plane ride. Keep your bags packed.
500 feet, 500 miles.
Fairbanks, Alaska. One of the coldest cities in America with temperatures that can reach the negatives. It's also one of the best places to see the Aurora Borealis, also known as the Northern Lights.
The Northern Lights are caused by the sun farting out energized particles that head towards Earth and are karate blocked by the Earth's magnetic field and sent to the North and South poles. This results in gorgeous streaks of colorful lights across the sky, and not many people get the opportunity to see them in their lifetime. But not us. We were determined to hunt them down for the experience.
To be as close to the remote wilderness as possible, we rented a small cabin in the middle of the snowy woods. And this was a for real cabin. Small, cozy, and no running water. Alright, we at the cabin. We got a little loft area. It's actually a cabin in the woods though. A lot of Airbnbs be saying they're a cabin in the woods and they be right off the freeway. This for real. This washer dryer is taking up half the unit. When the sun sets, it's gonna be a problem.
Outhouse ain't as close as I hoped.
That shit ain't close at all.
The cabin had an actual outhouse, which isn't really our style, but we were up for the challenge. It was kind of gross, but the rules were do your business and burn the tissue paper. I don't know if you've ever taken a freezing dump and then committed arson, but I do not recommend.
Please put your used toilet paper in the can below and burn it?
Well, that explains the lighter fluid.
Weird noises going on in the woods.
I gotta remind myself that that is not necessarily walkable.
Look at this tree. I was like, what's perfectly framing you? There's more than one. What is happening out here?
Remember we saw that? It was like one of the
Wait a minute. Why is every tree doing this?
We decided to drive into the city of Fairbanks to do some exploring and get some supplies for the cabin. There was a cool little downtown area with a bunch of shops. We ended up at the Blue Roof Bistro, a simple restaurant with an interesting looking menu.
We were greeted by nice staff who started us off with some salsa, guacamole, and chips. Then we got our entrees. A loaded French dip with steamy au jus, cheese and broccoli soup, a bacon cheeseburger,
And the appetizer, smoked salmon sliders. Yuck.
It's good. They look like it's like a salmon salad type of thing.
Yeah.
Looks like a cheddar broccoli.
Ooh.
It was a long travel day, so we headed back into the woods before nightfall. We got back to the cabin and walked around enjoying the snowy sunset. Little did we know, in Fairbanks, the sun doesn't fully set until really late at night.
Alright, so it's 10 o'clock at night and the sun isn't really set yet. Alright, so this is what we hoping for. This is what all this has been for. The Aurora Borealis, aka the Northern Lights.
The next morning, we decided to have breakfast inside the cabin. And what a better way to enjoy a cabin in the snow than having some homemade soup. So I doctored up some delicious chicken noodle soup that definitely hit the spot.
Soup. Soup. We eating soup because it's cold as fuck.
Throughout the night, we heard loud animals that we thought were wolves, but it turned out there was a cabin way out in the woods that housed a bunch of dogs for dog sledding. We walked the beaten path and followed the sounds of excited barking.
We found the source of the noise and were greeted by a friendly couple that loved dogs and offered dog sledding lessons.
Meet all the dogs. Most of them are old and retired. They're like just mellow, so they won't jump around too much. But you know the young punk teenagers, they're not be bouncing around. If you're the dog and I'm coming up to you and you're at the edge of your circle, meaning the chain's tight here, what you want to do is turn side on and let them jump up on you. They want to jump up, unless you don't want them touching your clothes. So if you're side on, just for the first 20 seconds until they
Do that
get
again.
excitement out of them.
They gave us a tour and let us meet all their amazing animals. You have on the side?
Just pushes his legs in. They'll push his buttons.
Warrior, like he fights?
He's a warrior, this one.
Adorable.
Do you want to give Stephanie a cuddle?
Yeah,
Be nice.
come get
Gentle
me.
cuddle.
Oh, yes. Yes.
He's a bit more manageable than Cowboy with the cuddles, yeah.
They even gave us a quick tutorial on how to work a dog sled, but because of limited time and equipment, they could only give one of us a ride before they had to leave. Steph offered me the spot, but I didn't want to leave her behind, so we decided not to do it. We thanked the couple and their dogs for their hospitality and headed back into the woods.
We jumped in the car and headed out for more exploring. We checked the map and saw that there was a town nearby called the North Pole. Santa's crib? Absolutely. We drove over and immediately saw that this was a year-round Christmas-themed town. Decorations everywhere, light poles that looked like candy canes, and even the McDonald's was themed out.
We eventually found Santa Claus's house, and it was a little dingier than we thought it would be. But we were still down. I mean, technically he'd be trapping out of that house, so we understood.
Alright, well, Santa's house ain't as nice as we thought, but let's check it out.
The statue in front was just creepy. There's no way around that.
Alright, so we just got to Santa's house in the North Pole. We about to walk in here, see what Santa's doing, see if he home. You know what I'm saying? You think Santa home?
We pulling up on him, we'll see.
Santa's house is open every day.
We went inside and it was way nicer. They sold everything, jingle bells, ornaments, toys, and miniatures. It was actually really cool.
Santa setup kind of player though.
Yeah, I'm getting, you are assaulting your worker. It was. You got it in.
Hello, HR.
We bought some souvenirs and got some tips for hunting the northern lights from the friendly staff.
They'll give you notifications, hey, we're gonna have a good night tonight, or yeah, we should see something tonight.
Okay.
And as long as it's clear out, you should be good to go.
Did you know that the North Pole has their own tax? Santa's a trapper for real.
The back of Santa's house even had an ice cream shop. Even though it was freezing outside, we had to try some.
It's a little kid with the ice cream cone. Thank you.
Thank you. We thanked Santa's helpers and headed back to Fairbanks.
On the way, we saw a random convoy of intense army vehicles in northern Alaska. I'ma just keep my conspiracy theories to myself.
We were hungry for some real food, so we found a high-rated restaurant called Aurora, which was named after the Aurora Borealis that we came out here for. It was fitting, so we gave it a shot.
We got a steak kebab, and some butter chicken that was insanely good. Although it wasn't a great idea for two people who have an outhouse at their cabin.
It's good.
Unreal.
We got back to the downtown area where there was an ice museum. The museum of, you guessed it, ice. Sculptures, history, everything ice. And I had no idea this was a thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, ice dog. Bunch of ice dogs.
Watch your step, you might slide. As a Chichaco, a visitor to Alaska. We're a Chichaco. Chichaco. If the ice you try to lick, your tongue indeed will stick. Yeah, I ain't licking a damn thing. Okay. We walked in and it was so cold they offered you jackets. There was a room full of extravagant ice sculptures that you could sit on and take pictures.
Hello.
There was even an ice bar.
Oh, they got the bar right here. Reindeer. Here's a horse.
The highlight of the museum was this super cool ice slide. We grabbed some boards and went down several times. It was way more fun than I ever thought an ice museum would be.
You know you are screaming way too much. Never hung out in a freezer before. That was intense. That was really intense.
The mission was in full effect. Wait until the sun was completely down, then drive into the dark wilderness to chase the northern lights. A scary mission, but that's what we were there to do.
All right, it is 1:30 in the morning. We are heading out into the abyss that is known as Alaska to see if we can see these damn northern lights. I don't see no green, so we're gonna be chasing.
Dude.
And I say chase very loosely.
Getting us a little lunch pail together.
Oh, okay.
Just for our excursion, because it is quite late. And we are just out here in the wilderness.
We drove out into the quiet darkness. After a long drive on the road, we pulled over and got out. We couldn't believe it. There it was, the northern lights, the aurora borealis.
I mean, it's black. You could wave, just to say you was in it. Yeah, there you go. The aurora borealis.
Oh my God. It is all around.
We were actually witnessing it with our own eyes. It was unreal. It almost seemed like we weren't really looking at it. That's low-key what unreal means though, huh?
We in Alaska, y'all. There's nothing but aurora. Look at the borealis. Honestly, it looks greener than what I'm looking at, so y'all enjoy this, but it's still unreal. Oh yeah, that looks insane. Yeah, next whatever one you get. And they actually disappear and move, so you do have to chase them. We found them northern lights. We came to the top of the world.
We got back to the cabin at sunrise and we were geeked. We actually did it.
Feelings, vlog it up.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. It was like a dream come true.
Seemed fake, huh?
It really did. I didn't know what to expect.
It was like real life CGI.
But what I do know is that we're gonna continue to chase them for the rest of the trip. So, yes, tonight was just the beginning.
After getting some much needed rest, we woke up later that morning and packed up the cabin. It was time to head to our next setup, which was much further in the city of Fairbanks. but not before doing some final explorations around the cabin.
Where do you think it was? Baby moose tracks? Yeah, that might be a big moose. Time to go.
Cabin conquered. Peace.
We locked up and bid farewell to such a unique place. We were excited to go somewhere with an actual toilet, though. On the drive into town, we saw a small airport with some parking lots you could stop at. So we had to do a quick photo op. Pat loves tiny planes like these.
We ended up at a unique area located right on a river called Pike's Landing that wasn't too far from our new spot.
We headed inside a bar and grill called the Sky Deck. The staff gave us our own section of the restaurant that was closed off. I don't know if it was either really nice or slightly racist, but either way, the exclusivity was dope.
We started off with some exotic looking drinks.
It's a little mild.
Mild?
And got some bisque as an appetizer. I ordered a prime rib sandwich, and Steph got some Alaskan king crab legs with lemon and butter. It was alright.
Yeah? Makes up.
Yeah.
You ain't a fan.
Eventually, we pulled up to our new spot, and it was a huge step up from the small cabin we were at.
Big old Airbnb, big old kitchen.
This Airbnb was meant for a large group of people. It also had multiple toilets. Thank God.
You got 2 chairs in the corner facing nothing. Desk facing nothing. Boom, closet. Airbnb. Goes a little rusty. Here go the other little rooms. I might make Stephanie sleep in one of these little baby rooms. Hey yo, you got the little room. She said bullshit. It snowed so much, ain't no more trail. These are clearly summer chairs. They've been demolished by the snow.
All right, so I found a way.
Snow hammock. Oh, this is great. Yeah, this lake literally got frozen pieces of ice.
The house had a huge backyard that was right on the water, perfect for turning up.
I told her this was my room. You comfy?
Later that night, around 5 a.m., we headed out into the abyss once again to chase the northern lights.
Since we were in the city now, we decided to drive back to the North Pole, which is known for being a good spot to see them.
We are no longer on a GPS grid.
The town was even more festive at night.
We followed the light streaks into a neighborhood and got some amazing pictures.
5 a.m. Still at it like crack addicts. Think we're gonna find more?
Yep. Sure.
We left the North Pole and drove into the nearby woods to see more. The lights were a little more subtle since we were closer to the city, but it was still beautiful.
When the sun started coming up, we headed back to the Airbnb to chill by the fire pit. We watched the sun rise over the frozen water.
Hey, dang, they got a little squad with them. They look like they're going to duck water. Oh, what happened? What happened? What's up, little man? This lake really froze over. It looked like the slushy ice, though. All right, let's the aftermath.
Got you.
How was it?
It was really cool because we got a chance to actually look up some stuff and find some like desolate roads and dark roads to go down. Got to see some brighter lights actually.
Different colors, too.
Different colors, more pronounced. So I really enjoyed tonight. I can't wait to see what we see.
Success.
The next morning, we woke up late and went straight to a local breakfast spot, the Cookie Jar.
I'll do the same with chowder. Thank you.
We started off with some cheese fries and some chowder, which sounds like it doesn't go together. That's because they do not.
It's not a looker, but...
What you think? It's really good.
We ordered some hot sandwiches, pastrami and Swiss,
and Dave's mom's meatloaf sandwich. But you already know, my mom makes it way better.
My mom's better.
For our last adventure, we drove 2 hours into the outskirts of Fairbanks. We even saw some wildlife.
What's up, Moosey?
It's a dog or a bear?
Or a wolf?
Some more interesting than others.
Oh, clearly dog.
Still cute though.
Pulling up on us. Oh no! Leave us alone. You're not a polar bear. Get out of here. Scat, you.
Oh, he barking at us.
It's snowing. I just gotta get to snow you. We trippin'.
We ended up at the Chena Hot Springs Resort, a quote-unquote natural hot springs that you could relax in while gazing at the northern lights.
Turns out, it wasn't as natural as we would have hoped.
My hair's frozen. It's frozen.
Is mine?
Yeah, you have ice on it. Let's show the camera.
Our hair froze.
It's crazy. This is frozen, y'all. You see the ice? I'm getting your frozen hair.
Frozen hair?
Yes.
Oh, well. Oh, hot spring.
We just left the hot springs. We're in one of the most remote places in Alaska. It's a flurry. You think the North Pole far? We an hour away from that. We're more remote than the North Pole right now. We wildin'. We trippin'.
The sky conditions were really cloudy with low visibility because of a snowstorm, so we decided to drive back to Fairbanks while we still had sunlight. It got scary quick. Big shout out to me for the snow driving skills. The storm passed and we safely got back to Fairbanks. We grabbed some drinks for our last night and ordered the only available food that was open. More pizza.
What's going on here?
Just a little vibe. Kind of cold for the fire pit outside, you know, so gotta keep the vibes going. Get in a little.
Hey, why does it feel
Feels
warm?
a little warm. Brain's a powerful tool.
So it was time to say goodbye to Fairbanks and the beautiful Aurora Borealis.
Until next time, guys, keep your bags packed. All right, guys, that was the winter season finale of We Trippin' in Fairbanks, Alaska.
Whew, it was cold out there.
It was one of the coldest cities in the U.S. That was freezing. That was a very bucket list trip.
Absolutely. I've actually flown to Norway to see the Northern Lights and didn't see them.
That's crazy. That's such a longer flight, but it's just like one of those phenomenons that you see on pictures and online all the time, and it's just like, damn, I don't know if I'm ever gonna see that. But we went out there, we chased them, and we actually found them.
We did.
It's crazy. Both nights,
and it was magical.
It was so dope, and I think that we really committed to it. You know, we didn't stay in like a luxury type of place and you know, all that. We really found a cabin in the woods, no toilet, no
toilet,
no running water.
It was a hole in a shed and we had to burn the toilet paper. I never experienced anything like that before.
We literally had to stop eating after a certain point of the day because it was pitch black outside, and it was just like, I don't even want to pee, let alone number 2 at 10 o'clock at night, pitch black and it was snow. It was freezing in there. You just in there trying to push out an ice cube.
And you sit down and you feel the wind.
Oh,
and if you look in the hole, you are in for a brown surprise.
That was rough, and that's not even gonna make it to our tips because we can't even advise that. No. But it did add to the experience. We were a lot closer
to nature,
to nature and the Northern Lights than we were at the Airbnb. But we still, you know, we were still lucked up and got to see them on both nights that we went out.
Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed being able to see such a phenomenon and it not being that far of a trip away, you know.
We drove for quite some time though, you know, like you saw in the episode, we went off of the grid, literally. Like we checked the map and it was just lines and squares. We were like, damn, we didn't even get the road on here. It's just in the middle of nowhere.
And in the middle of the night too. Because we didn't want any type of light pollution, nothing to get in our way of being able to see the lights at their brightest.
No street lights or anything. Those were some really creepy drives.
Yeah, because we would stop and turn the lights off. So that was something for me driving that kind of took away from me being able to spot them. Was the headlights. So when we stopped and turned the headlights off, then it was like all that light pollution went away. It was pitch black and you just see sky and colors.
Man, it's very, very unreal. It just seemed like you're just like, I don't even know if I'm looking at this right now. You know, it just felt
it's magical.
I'm so glad we did. Because I mean, it was a risky trip, you know, to go to somewhere specifically to see something that isn't consistent. You know, like if you go to see Mount Rushmore, it's gonna be there. But if we go out there and it's like, you know, it depends on the storm or the what is it called, the electromagnetic storm,
Field.
or all the
all
science that goes into it.
The sun's bursts.
It could have been a bust. It could have been a big bust.
I was very satisfied with what we got to experience out there.
Very cool, and a lot of little side activities too. You know, it was just overall really, really fun trip. Now,
Absolutely.
The food though. I've come to realize that the places that are like kind of in the middle of nowhere that are very activity heavy, it's gonna take a hit on the food. This was definitely not a crazy food trip.
No.
But just to get into it, what you got for your favorite?
I would have to say it was one of the first places that we ate at, and it was called the Blue Roof Bistro, and it had a cheeseburger there. And if you guys don't really know me too much, that's one of my favorite dishes of all time.
It was safe.
It's a good cheeseburger, and that when I tell you it was juicy, it was seasoned well. I didn't expect to really come out there and get the best, but it was fresh.
Yeah.
It was like everything was just, if you ever wanted a good cheeseburger, you were going to get it there.
It was definitely safe. We didn't really know what Alaska was known for, and we just kind of tried to play it safe. Because even when we had the Alaska king crab legs, like those were kind of boof.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but we in Alaska.
Right. They weren't hitting.
Weren't hitting. I feel like we could have tried more fish, because the first time I was in Alaska, the fish and chips were like amazing. But I feel like we were kind of a little bit off put by the, what were they, the salmon sliders?
Yeah,
those were kind of weird. But I had the dip sandwich, like the French dip thingy. I thought that was pretty good. And the environment was cool. The staff was really nice. They watched dad jokes, so I'm biased. You know?
Did have fans out there. I was like, wow.
That was pretty cool. I was like, okay, I like y'all out here. But yeah, that was a cool stop. That was like our first meal out there, our first experience in Fairbanks, just kind of wandering around.
I usually get a burger from the hotels that we stay in, but we stayed in an Airbnb. So this time I didn't get to get a hotel burger. So I had to check out the city's burgers, you know?
Just had to get a burger.
I had to.
This isn't technically Fairbanks because we drove a little bit outside, but the Aurora Mediterranean place definitely had my favorite food. I didn't expect to eat anything that seasoned out there in the middle of the snow, but the butter chicken and the steak kebabs, the wraps, that was fire. That was like really good Mediterranean even for like out here. That was fire.
I love Mediterranean food, and I've recently like grown to eat it at least a couple of times a week.
Right.
So it was really good, and it was kind of like a little a smaller like mom and pop shop, like and I wasn't expecting to see that. And then when we went in there wasn't too many people in there. It wasn't crowded at all, and they were just really cool people in there too. And so sometimes the little places have the best food, and I think that was the case. Yeah. That was the case in at this Mediterranean spot. It was so good. It was so delectable. I love it.
I'll always prefer a mom and pop to a chain, you know, just because there's no like formula that's sent across cities and stuff. It's just some family that opened up a brick and mortar, and they're just like, this is what we good at, and we do this specifically. And it did not disappoint. That was my favorite for the whole trip.
Good, yeah.
Even though your soup was really good too. We just can't suggest that to people, but the doctored up soup in a snowy cabin was a vibe.
I'm always making something. Okay. So if I got a stove, I'm gonna make something.
And we were not near anything with that cabin, so hitting Safeway and getting some supplies was definitely a necessity. Well, that's, obviously this is why we came out here, but the activities. What was number one activity in Fairbanks, Alaska?
So, of course, overall, chasing the Northern Lights.
Got to be.
Of course.
Got to be.
And it's something I've wanted to see for a long time. I'm really into space stuff. So I love like space facts and look, any space movie that comes out, I don't care what it is, I'm gonna watch it. I used to sit and watch the ISS just go around the Earth, and it was very soothing for me. So being able to actually experience something like that was was truly out of this world.
It was very cool. I see what you did there. I liked it so much. I feel like I'm not even done with it. You know, like I would see it multiple times.
Absolutely.
There are different parts of the world where it's kind of like in the streaks are in different layers of the atmosphere. So they might be pink or they might be blue. That was just overall such a cool activity, because there was even like some excitement in it, because you know, we went out, we didn't know if we were gonna see it, we didn't know if we were gonna live. We were driving down these dark wooded paths and stuff, and we were just like, ugh.
The road could get slippery at times, you know. We went into some little neighborhoods. Even though we were where it almost looked like a dark reserve, we still went into neighborhoods where it was even darker, you know? So we would stay there and just kind of step out and see. We really did. We were like some explorers.
Stepping out the car that very first time and seeing them was just like, yo, we did it. We're actually looking at this. Definitely top tier activity. I think that just is unanimous between both of us.
Absolutely.
Just to add something, I would say it was a pleasant surprise, was the ice museum.
Yes.
I don't think we don't be going to museums like that. Not that I don't like museums, but this was just something that was so random. I thought it was gonna be like talking about the history of ice, and
they had activities.
The first thing, they had the sculptures. You can actually like get on the sculptures and take pictures. There was an ice bar. But like nothing really beats the ice slide. I felt like a little kid.
I did too. It was so fun, and we got to push each other like we were brother and sister or something like at the park.
Go for it. I mean, I wish it was like a bigger slide too. Like that could have been like an amusement park, and they could have had the ice bar, like actually serving like drinks and stuff.
It went so fast. I know, in such a small space, that slide was fast.
It was ice. It was slippery.
It was literally just a burst of fun. That's why we kept doing it over and over again. I know people were looking at us like they are just having too much fun. But
hey. We kept doing it. The kids were like, can we go? Can we have a turn? We're like, shut up, Timmy. This is us. And we didn't like, that was just one of the things. We just kind of like looked up what there was to do and just kind of popped in. So we had no expectations. It was cold as heck in there.
It was really cold to where like sometimes I have to take my gloves off to just do certain activities. And there it was like, if you took your gloves off, you got about maybe a minute and a half before you are like, I gotta put them back on. It gets so cold in there.
All right. Well, I think the activities they spoke for themselves. Very, very fun. Skin tuition. Anytime we're in the middle of nowhere, or like whenever we use the word wilderness, I'm always, at 10 with like the awareness, like what are people like out here? I'll say the more remote we were, the more we limited human contact, period. So I feel like when we were like really out there, we weren't even going to risk it. We weren't really like with people like that. But when we were in the town and when we were like going to places to eat, everybody was super cool. Fairbanks.
I had no issues with people. I loved like interacting with the people that we did interact with. My skin tuition came with when we were out driving in the middle of the woods out of nowhere, and it was
out there and being black was weird.
And then there would be sometimes, and this is just me and my own thing, kind of. It don't have nothing to do with nobody, but seeing another set of headlights actually made me less comfortable.
Jeepers creepers.
Yeah. So whenever they would come up, I would pull to the side and let them go ahead of me. But I was always like, every time I saw some, because it's like midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning that we're out here. And so I'm just like, ooh, please don't let this be one of those situations where we're off the grid. We're not getting service. It's dark as hell.
You can get run off the road. It was slippery.
It was slippery. So there were just things like that. And then, honestly, I had some fears about wildlife that might be out there at the time. So I didn't want to.
We were standing outside the car and everything.
We were standing out, and it was pitch black, and we would hear noises that sounded like there might be some sort of animal out there.
We were hearing wolves and stuff the whole time. I think that my skin tuition was going a little crazy when we were in the cabin and we started hearing like a bunch of animals and stuff, and then the next day we were like, okay, those are dogs, and we followed the sound, and there was like a cabin with dogs and that couple, like that just seems like a horror film setup, but
we
they
saw
were
a person.
amazing. Yeah, they were lovely. They invited us in the house. They were teaching us how to dog sled. The only reason we didn't was because of time constraints, but Yeah, I feel like there was just no issues, but I feel like situationally there were some times where we were just like, okay, the blackness in me feels like
Right.
I want to go in the house, or we should turn around and drive back,
Like,
and we
okay,
did.
you pushing it,
We had our
pushing the
limits.
comfort limit.
Yeah, even on that first night of seeing the Northern Lights, there was a point in time we drove a little too far, and we were like, we don't got no service. It's late. We saw a bunch of Northern Lights. It could get better, but it could also disappear. So let's just chalk our day up.
One of the things I do when we do take trips, and I know that we're gonna kind of be off the grid maybe a little bit, I always make sure we rent a car.
Clutch.
So
We couldn't have
we
Ubered to the
definitely
Northern Lights.
right.
4
But they did
a.m.
have-
like you outside.
But they did have tours that took, because remember we saw a couple of those vans
Right.
of tours of Northern Lights chasers. So, but we kind of are independent travelers. We like to
Right.
do things on our own.
So speaking of being independent and finding the Northern Lights ourselves, what is some travel tips that you have for anybody looking for the Aurora Borealis?
I didn't know about this for Alaska, but there are trackers. So you can actually download an app. You can download multiple apps, which I did, because at times we would lose service, and one app would have an updated one, or one was a little more detailed. So I would say if you are going to chase the Aurora Borealis, I would download multiple app trackers, because they are literally quite accurate. So
cool.
I
Lot of
would look
information.
and I'm like, oh, we're literally, and it goes by colors. So if the colors get deeper as you get closer to it, so it kind of goes from light, and then you just keep going, and it's pretty accurate to your location too.
Yeah.
I also think they have offline trackers as well.
In case you run out of service. I wonder how that works.
So, just like you can download your map. You can download your map before you go, before you leave town when you do have service, so that you do have access to it offline.
That was super clutch. I mean, if it was up to me, we would just drove in some direction and looked up. But I really liked a couple of those apps because, number one, they told us like what time it was, and we were just completely green. We didn't know what was going on. So kind of knew like what time to leave and what direction to go, which was detrimental.
And also people could submit their pictures. They could submit information that were in those areas at that time of what it looked like. So you can know like, okay,
oh, that's right.
This is for real. We saw the tour vans. So that was kind of helpful
we followed
too.
one of them.
We followed one of the tour vans for a little while. Until they made a turn that we didn't want to make.
We bougie as hell. Like that was they're literally going to it, and we're like, nah, we know where we're going. They're going the wrong way. Like the tour van?
Yeah, we followed it for a while, and then we went the way of our app.
Oh, that's definitely a really good tip. That it was very, very like important to have those for us, because I don't know if we would have even seen them if we didn't have that app. So good job.
All right. What's yours?
So my tip is really based on like the equipment that you have. One thing that I didn't know about the Aurora Borealis that it makes sense now that I mainly see photos of them as opposed to video is just like how they show up on camera. When you look at it just with your naked eye, depending on how strong it is, you like kind of see it, but all of the extravagant lights and stuff, at least in our experience, was really on photos. As you saw in the episode, a lot of our photos, like they look kind of professional, like, and that was just the iPhone, like they looked really, really good on photo. Video was a little darker. It still looked really, really cool, but more than likely people who go out to places as remote as this for something to take a video or a photo, they're usually like have better equipment than us, especially if that's the point. Sure. Like we came out there like with some iPhones, but just know that the photos that you take are gonna be a lot better, and if you do the research, you might be able to bring a different type of camera than we had, where the video is way crispier and you can just get a lot more for your travels if that's why you're going out there. Another thing I would say is just like invest in a drone, even if you don't make content like that. Like, I was terrified to, have something that I bought fly out into, a mile away from me and maybe be lost in the woods forever. But anytime we're in the wilderness, just getting up there, that's like the best way to see where you're at. You're obviously always going to see from, ground level if you don't. But I would definitely recommend just getting a drone, figuring out how to just make it go all the way up and just record. You could see everything. We saw the woods. We saw the mountains behind it. It didn't really work in the dark. I'm sure there are drones that can work for the Aurora, but it was just like, it added to the magic.
Definitely bringing something, I would say, like the type of camera that you bring should be really good in the evening.
Yeah.
Definitely
a low light camera. Well, there you have it. Bucket list items scratched off. We really hope that we can maybe inspire some people to get out there and adventure, because there's just something about seeing some, something that rare, so sort of like a once in a lifetime opportunity that just, it stays with you, and I knew as soon as we saw them, I was like, this got to be the season finale.
Absolutely.
It's got to be the season finale because this was just something we've always wanted to do. So we hope you enjoyed this winter season of We Trippin. Spring season is coming up and it is pretty quaint. It's pretty beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
The trees are back. The flowers are back.
The flowers. I'm so excited.
Well, once again, this has been We Trippin. I've been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
And we need you to keep your bags packed. We'll see you in spring.
What do you see, Captain?
I see our amazing viewers. That was our winter season of We Trippin. So far, my favorite.
Yeah, it was so good.
So far, my favorite. I've grown up obsessed with snow.
Have you?
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to see it a lot. But once, me and my friends were able to do road trips up to a place that there's a ski resort, or it was usually in California, so it wasn't like for real snow. But I fell in love with snow as soon as I seen it. And there was even a point in time I was like, okay, I'm never just going to stay in LA for a whole winter, knowing all of this beauty is happening. And it's just sunny, So this was a very dope season for me because it's like, not only were we going to all these places that just snowed, which I thought it was going to be, we were going into the wilderness, snowy forests, basically like places that were like off the grid. We were really like out there.
Growing up, like I was always cold. Even though I lived in, Southern California, which really ain't cold.
You ain't cold.
But I was just always cold. So I was one of those kids who would wear hoodies with the heater on. So I really didn't think that I would be the type of person that liked the snow, because if I was cold in Southern California, I'm for sure not going to be able to handle it in the snow. In college, my first time seeing the snow, we went to Colorado and I played in the snow and it was so fun. And I was like, okay, this isn't anything like I thought it would be. I went with my basketball team and we did snow angels and stuff like that. And I realized, okay, the snow is fun if you're prepared for it. So you're not going to be cold if you have the proper attire.
Very
true.
You
have everything that you need to stay warm on the inside. The snow is so much fun.
It's very true.
And so actually that was my first introduction to it, but I forgot about that, after a while. So when we started doing the snowtivities, I developed a love for it to the point where when it went away, I missed it.
Yeah. For sure. And I think that a lot of people are, especially if they grew up without snow, they're a little intimidated by it in similar ways. Either it's like, it's too cold. Well, one thing that I told my mom was that you can enjoy this snow from a warm place. You can get, like an Airbnb or a hotel in a place that's just like the town and the atmosphere is very snowy. You see the snowfall, but you're enjoying it from inside, next to a fire or just doing certain things indoors. But I think that once you let go and you allow yourself to enjoy it, but being prepared, being from LA, I would go up to like Big Bear or, Mammoth, all these places with like basketball shoes or
Right.
regular pants.
Right.
You think that it's like I'm dressing for regular cold. I just got a hoodie on. And then I remember my first step into the snow. It went immediately through my shoes, wet socks and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is terrible. But, you know, when we went to Sun Valley and we really realized like, oh, why would we shop in California for snow stuff when you're supposed to do your shopping at the place you're going to, because those people are shopping for the weather that they have.
Right.
So that's when we were introduced to snowshoes and the pants that were like super like thermal and they kept the heat in and stuff.
Right.
And after that, it was just like, oh, this is like moving around regularly, you know, and
you got hand warmers, you got foot warmers, you got
the hand warmers. I think that might have saved my life.
Yes, for sure.
And then you realize they got the little footsie warmers you can just throw in your boots and you got hot feet. And then you realize your whole body is warm after that. So
because that was my biggest struggle. My biggest struggle was feet.
It's always been my fingers,
My feet, I felt like my feet would get cold through all the shoes that I got, but those foot warmers definitely did. And sometimes it might get a little too hot, but I'd rather have it too hot than too cold because my toes was getting numb when I wasn't properly prepared for that. So once you're properly prepared for the snow, you can do it all.
So we're clearly talking to the people who aren't used to snow, but we you know, over the years of going to snowy places during the winter and talking about it online, you always hear from the people who have to do normal things in snow every day, like driving and all that stuff. And I feel for y'all. I definitely feel for y'all. Right. So they're just like, I don't care about snow, but you have to understand that context is very important.
Right.
Snow while you trying to get to work is probably horrible, but going to a beautiful place where you can just enjoy the snow, even if you grew up in a snowy, cold place, you could still learn from this and still vacation to wintry places where the snow is just like an aesthetic for your trip. It's beautiful, it's fun, it's not getting in the way of your normal everyday stuff, because that's just life.
And we had to do so much. There were so many activities.
Yep.
Skiing and snowboarding. That was just so much more. So we got to snowshoe. We got to snowmobile, sled, tubing. Like there was just so many different things. The dog sledding.
Right.
There was so much to do.
But one thing about this season that is drastically different from our previous seasons is that the activities really trumped the food. One thing about these places that are super, and I don't want to talk about all, I don't want to say like all of them are like this, but the places we went to that were mainly like cold and more like, you know, about like skiing and snowboarding, the food kind of took a hit. You know, obviously the food in Mexico might be better than Idaho.
For sure.
So if we're just going to talk about our favorite foods of the season, it's definitely a lot, you know, harder to choose. But what was your favorite snowy meal?
Man, for me, I loved this so much that I ordered it twice. It was from a restaurant called The Ram. And I got the scallops.
Sun Valley.
Sun Valley. And scallops are not, I don't typically order scallops when I go to any restaurant.
Those were good.
But they were fantastic.
Very good.
It was so good. And I dipped it in the fondue that we had.
Yeah.
But they had their own taste that was special without any additives. So it didn't need the fondue. It didn't need any more seasoning. No, nothing. All it needed was to be consumed by me.
Anytime we order something twice on this show, I know it's going to qualify for the finals. Yeah. So at the time, I was just like, okay, I know this is going to be her favorite for the episode, but it might be a favorite for the whole season.
That was a favorite, period. So yes, you are right. I don't know. There were some close seconds. Like there was a place that had the pizza pretzel,
the Sidewinder.
Yes, that was really good, but nothing can really hold a candle to those scallops.
We found some surprises out there for sure. And speaking on just Sun Valley, cheese pots was like their main thing.
Right.
I enjoyed the experience of that, but it's like it's not something that you can eat all the time. You know, dipping different things into molten cheese is good for like an appetizer.
Right.
They were doing a lot like pickles and stuff that I wouldn't even assume you would dip into it. So like at first the Sun Valley food scene was like just about the experience, not really about the taste. But then we went to the Ram and tried that other stuff. and we were very, very much proven wrong.
They had a charcuterie board at these places that I guess you use the different things on the board to dip into the fondue.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I didn't know about like
really my
dipping
style.
different like salty meats and pickles and grapes. You know, even though it was a cool experience because it's like, oh, this is what they do here, we'll do it. But there were some weird mixtures of intense flavors.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of stuck with what I knew, and those scallops went crazy. What's yours?
So my favorite meal was not only because of how delicious it was also the vibe of everything. You know, like literally there's so many things that went into this meal. This was our meal at Turpin Meadow Ranch. This was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Okay.
And this was a place that we went to far outside the city. And we actually got to do all these snow activities and then come back to a warm fireplace. And they gave us like a bacon-infused grilled cheese sandwich with a tomato soup on the side that you can dip it into. And it's just like, as someone who is, I grew up kind of like, I didn't like tomato soup. And then I realized that people weren't just eating it straight. They were doing it with grilled cheese. And then I was just like, oh, this is amazing. This is the best version of that I have ever had, you know? And I think that the fact we were just like in a cabin with, it wasn't even just like, oh, a light snowfall and I could still see the street.
Right.
Nah, snow for miles of just untouched wilderness. We had just been, you know, snowmobiling and we come back to this just hearty, delicious meal.
So good.
Like I still remember how that tastes, how it felt. It was like a commercial for Black people doing winter. Like it was just like if you filmed us and then put us in like on a screen in a community college, everybody would want to go to Jackson Hole.
Right.
And that's what We Trippin' is.
So good. So good.
A commercial for Black travel. But no, I think that checked off everything for me. I've never had like a bacon-infused grilled cheese.
It was real bacon. It's locally grown.
Shoot, it was probably elk bacon.
Right. There was a lot of that out there. That was a new experience for me, trying like the different
Yeah, that's what saved the
animals.
food category in the winter segment, because we didn't have like the most delicious food, but we were trying a lot. You know, we weren't going to these places in the middle of nowhere that specialized in bison and having chicken tenders. You know, we were trying the bison, trying the elk, and it was different. Some were good, some weren't. But I think that we were still immersing ourselves in these new experiences.
I think a second for me with the food was the burger in our Idaho hotel, Sun Valley Hotel. There was my God, they had a restaurant at the bottom of the hotel, and it was just woo. And my thing, if you guys know by now, that my thing is trying hotel burgers, and that one
Hotels
did
have
not disappoint.
Shit restaurants.
Yes,
like it's like, I don't know what I thought before, but I just thought hotel food was just something real quick. You know, room service was usually hit or miss, but it was more about the convenience. But now it seems like they're getting like elite chefs for these hotels.
They take pride in their burgers. Hotels take pride in their burgers. We might have to do a series, a hotel burger series.
Is this hotel food?
Hotel burgers.
Hotel food. Let's not put ourselves in a niche. So if we're talking about our favorite activities, I'll go first because my favorite activity was directly connected to my favorite food. Going out into the Teton Wilderness at Turpin Meadow Ranch, and that experience of snowmobiling was one of a kind. Now, my first tastes of snow was like going with my parents to like learn how to ski, learn how to snowboard. And I was just like, this is hard. Like I was falling and stuff.
It hurts.
You know, I'll go out with, you know, my a couple of my cousins are really good snowboarders. So they'll go to the top of the mountain and be like, bye, and just leave me. And I'll just fall down the entire mountain. And I'm like, I like snow, but this isn't fun. Then the first time I snowmobiled, and you don't have to worry about the skill, you just get to go fast and look at the scenery. I was like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to ski. I don't want to snowboard. I want to snowmobile. And Jackson Hole's version of that was the best I've ever seen because we were in the middle of nowhere. We were on trails that either nobody or very few have been. They were Native American, just untouched wilderness, you know. And we were going to like these high viewpoints. We were going to these giant, like, I don't know what you call it, a tundra, a snowy tundra.
A tundra.
And just going crazy, doing donuts. And it just felt like the ultimate version of snowmobiling.
You were having the time of your life. And I was with our leader a couple of times, and he was like, look at him. And
so good.
There was one time he said he's gonna get stuck, and literally 3 seconds later he got stuck.
Yeah, I got stuck. So what?
That was so funny, and he came immediately to help you. But this is one of the things that I really love about snowmobiling is it doesn't really take skill, so you don't have to learn too much skill to be able to do it. So it's really fun.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you flip over or if you fall, like
push that back up.
But I fell off in slow motion. So it was the best fall that I could have had off of any moving vehicle. Soft landing.
It's win-win.
I literally fell in slow motion and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
It's win-win.
When you get stuck, there's somebody to help you get out, but you're not really stuck like that, you know? It was really cool that you have just this massive layout that you can just have fun and kind of let go and go as fast as you want.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything. Like,
you don't have to worry about bugs.
Sometimes no bugs out there, you know. And every time I've snowboarded, I would have to stop and sit down and be like, man, this is really beautiful. All right, back to snowboarding. And I'm just like, oh, don't fall. But this was just like, you get to admire the beauty. And we saw everything. We saw snowy forests. We saw like, you know, giant mountains. And it was just like they took us through every part.
That cliff that we were on the side of that we just got some beautiful footage of. But the cutest thing to me was that sometimes we would have to yield for the dog sledders, you know? So it was just really cute, just like pulling to the side and watching the dogs, you know, do their thing. And you could tell the dogs absolutely love.
Dog sledding was high on my list too. That was actually a very close second. And going into it, you think that like, man, I don't really want to do this. It's cruel and stuff. Then I think about like how the dogs looked and how I wish like my dog got an opportunity to do that, you know, just have a field where they could just run and exercise all day. Like people be tripping too much about like the animal thing. Like, no, that's cruel. You're making him drag you. It's like, this dog lives the life, you know, he's in a beautiful, and it's only snowing a small part of the year. Every other month, it's like beautiful and just regular, you know, but this is just like a part of the year where they could run around the snow. We were seeing the dogs take breaks and just playing in the snow and stuff like that.
Eating the snow.
Oh, they loved it. And they got the exercise too.
Yes. So I think that my favorite activity, although it still was snowing, but we got an amazing chance to see the Northern Lights.
Oh.
So my favorite is actually Fairbanks, Alaska.
Let's go.
It's still Snowtivities because we were driving in the snow.
Oh, definitely.
But we just got a chance to just step out in the middle of the night, pitch black, and look up and see those green layers floating in the air. Now, they were pretty faint at first, but then once our eyes kind of adjusted to what we were going to see, because we really didn't know what to see outside of what we've seen like online pictures and stuff like that. So seeing it with the naked eye in the beginning, you have to like adjust a little bit to it. And it was crazy because we were following like little apps that we had, and I think we were in them before we even knew, because once we stopped and just said, let's stop right here because it says we're in the middle of it. We got out of the car and we looked up and I was like, oh snap.
I'll never forget the first time we stepped out, because we failed a couple times. We were just like, I think that's it, I don't know, blah 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 blah. And then that time I think I stepped out a little bit before you. I was like, yo, get out of here.
Because it was the middle of the night and we were driving through the forest, basically. I've flown all the way to Norway to see the Northern Lights and didn't see them. So for me, it was just like, it was really special because I'm like, okay, we did it.
This is my first time ever having the opportunity to search for them. So, you know, I'm 100%. But to fly across the world and fail and then seeing it, that must have been crazy.
It It was. I was like, I did it. Like, I was so excited because, I mean, it's just really magical just to see the different colors, like just swaying in the air.
Yeah.
And so we took that opportunity to actually chase even more. And so we started seeing like way more streaks, and we pretty much had time on our side because it was the middle of the night. And so we took naps in the daytime so that we could
stay up
go out. Stay up all
sure.
night and drive through these things. So it was a magical experience. I definitely suggest that anybody who has like this inkling of wanting, if you're on the fence of wanting to go see them, I would definitely say,
because it's not just the moment where you look up and you see them. It's the satisfaction of chasing them. There's a reason why they call it chasing the Northern Lights. You know, it might not have been the most optimal time of year to see them, you know, but you know, as long as you do the research, find out when they're happening, where they're happening, go out there. And we were smart enough to not stay in the city. You know, we stayed outside of the city in a cabin
with an outhouse,
with just in straight up wilderness, and we were able to do it. But then we ended up driving on our last day of chasing them. We ended up driving into the city and seeing how they looked with the light pollution, and if that, you know, changed the colors or anything, and it did. So I think that if you've ever thought about it, or if this is on your bucket list, just take it from us of how possible it is. You think it's something mythical where it's like finding the Holy Grail, where one person every winter gets to do it. But go out there, plan it, make sure you know, set your alarms, get the apps, all that stuff, and it is something that you will literally never forget.
Now it's time to go see the Southern Lights.
That's the thing? Are they different colors or something?
Yes.
What are they, pink?
Pink, purple.
Okay, cool. So clearly the activities were very much aplenty this season. But in terms of safety, what city did you feel the safest in? Because compared to summer and fall, these were probably the most, on the surface, a little sketchy for us brown folk.
I think my skin tuition wasn't really flared up this entire season like that. But with Jackson Hole, we didn't have any problems. There weren't even inklings of issues. You know, everything went how you would expect it, how you would want it to go. Get a new experience somewhere that's unfamiliar. It might also be because of the time of year we went as well. You know, everybody was having fun, excited about the new year. It still had a hint of like the Christmas spirit. So everything, it was so positive. It was so joyful. Everyone was so happy from what we saw. I didn't know what to feel going into Wyoming, you know?
Yeah.
Wyoming, just, to me, it doesn't really have a reputation of anything like that, you know? So it was just nice being there, and I just felt like it was very welcoming and wholesome, and everyone was just good to each other. That's just what it felt, you know?
I like the vibe of Jackson Hole, you know, especially with that little town square with the park in it and all the shops. And I did enjoy Jackson Hole. I would say that's a close second for me. Fairbanks was a little bit different because we didn't really get to see the city like that. You know, we were kind of more there for the Northern Lights, and we didn't really explore as much. But I still have to. Yeah, we did, but it's like, you know, we kind of did our own thing. You know, a lot of our even our meals were, you know, cooking soup at the cabin and stuff like that. So Wyoming, the only reason why it didn't win the safest for me was because it's such a huge hunting culture, you know. So from the airport to the restaurants we were at, there were guns on the wall, you know, like, you know, animal heads, and you know, that to me just stereotypically equates with sort of middle of the nowhere, sort of like don't really mess with black people like that. The weird, you know, camo with the sticks, like sort of like, you know, very red state. Even though we had no bad experiences, but for me, the safest city was definitely Sun Valley, Idaho. Just because as soon as we got there, we realized like, oh, this is a gem. This is a gem of a city. This is not something that we discovered. This is something that's super popular. It's almost like a gem for white people. It's like a very hidden and not really talked about, but like white people love that. We were told immediately, like Bruce Willis, you know, all these huge high level celebrities for decades
have homes out there.
It's like a ski resort town. So I feel like that, between it being sort of nestled between these giant beautiful snowy mountains,
Right.
and just how they present the atmosphere. You know, it's very much like, come here, it's warm, it's nice, it's a ski resort town, it's known for all these celebrities relocating here. It just felt like a peek behind the curtain, and we're just like, what? You know, and just because of that vibe, it's closer to like a major city, you know, than how I felt Jackson Hole was, because even the name, like Jackson Hole, like we walked through a archway of deer antlers on the way, and I was just like, oh shoot, are we good here? But Sun Valley immediately was just like, if you like the snow, if you want a vacation, it's fire for you. You know,
Sun Valley was so cool. I really liked, we had a really nice hotel. It was like the corner of the hotel was like all windows, and you could just see the transition from, you know, daytime where you could kind of see the mountain, and then, you know, as it went further in, the mountains disappeared, and then it turned into this just lit up nighttime snow. We had a beautiful view from our hotel. We just found like the architecture out there was really dope. It was different, you know, and so I really just enjoyed the architecture. It gave like small town vibes, but small popular town vibes, you know. So it was really cool.
I love the small town vibes, especially in aesthetically pleasing cities. Like, you know, I did a lot of photography of the everyday work of snowy cities like that, you know, like the people that were shoveling the sidewalks, or the snow trucks that take everything out, you know, like just stuff like that. People just getting around in the snow and just living there was just so fun to watch, because it was so alien to me. And that felt like the perfect city to do that in, you know. Okay, so those were the safest ones. What was your favorite city?
I think all in all, my favorite is still Fairbanks.
Really?
Fairbanks, Alaska.
Interesting. I didn't really like the city.
It was cool because we got such different experiences. Like in the daytime, we did 2 different Airbnbs. And so one was the cabin, which was really cool. I like to cook, so I got to cook in there. And then it was so cozy. It was a cozy cabin. That was really cool. And then it was a different experience using the outhouse, but I'm glad I got the experience.
Yeah.
You know, so I got that. And then we transitioned to the city, where we had another Airbnb that we had heat and everything that was just like included with what we would get anywhere. Our backyard was at the lake. It had a fire pit. The trees were all around. They were really, really tall trees.
But did you like the city of Fairbanks?
Well, my favorite place, I think, was Fairbanks, just because it was beautiful to me. Now, we didn't really like eat in the city like that, you know, but it was still a really cool experience, even going up to the North Pole.
I like
the driving.
Pole.
Yeah, it was so that trip for me, I think, was my favorite place. I had a lot of fun in Wyoming. I had a lot of fun in Sun Valley. Like, those 2 places were just unbelievably gorgeous.
Yeah.
But for Fairbanks, I think it crossed off a bucket list of mine, you know, a bucket list item. So seeing the Northern Lights, you know, even driving around at nighttime in the snow, just looking for them, you know.
Yeah, I think that's why that is a great city for that specific activity. But when I think of the city, I think of like the layout of the city, how pretty the city is, the food of the city, the people of the city. And for Fairbanks, I just don't think we got to experience that enough. You know, we went to the Ice Museum and all that stuff, but I'm not 100% sure if I would have gone there if it wasn't for the Northern Lights.
Right.
But in terms of just like the overall experience, I got to give it to Sun Valley.
Okay.
Just because it's something that I would recommend to other people.
Right.
Winter, I would want to see what it's like during the summer, because it is called Sun Valley. And just like the layout of it being, you know, like I said before, nestled in between the mountains, and just like the vibe of the city. And it just felt like a hidden gem. I had been hearing about Fairbanks for a long time because of the Northern Lights, but this was just something that was so left field that we just researched and went to, that ended up being a really, really great experience. So I definitely got to give the favorites to Idaho, of all places. All right, so that has been the winter season of We Trippin'. We really, really hope that you enjoyed it. And we cannot wait until next winter where we can do more snow activities for you guys and give more recommendations.
We getting on the slopes.
I mean, maybe that's next.
Maybe. It hurts. Bunny slopes.
Maybe.
Bunny slopes.
I could do the bunny slopes.
I could do the bunny slopes.
But as always, I've been Patrick Cloud.
And I'm Persephone.
We'll see you guys next winter.
Bye.
Keep your bags packed.